All right, let's get some music going because I like to do that royalty-free music. Yeah, believe it or not, there's a lot that can go into a Twitch stream, and we're growing by leaps and bounds. I'm grateful to all of our supporters, all the people who have subbed, all the people that followed, all the people that lurk, all the people on Discord, because really it is pretty much just a word of mouth thing. We had a great discussion in the Discord earlier about marketing and kind of what we wish as fans, like what companies would do and maybe what's realistic for them to do with marketing and so forth. Um, right now, Hero Quest fans is still a small time operation. It's still a niche thing. I do this for fun. This is a hobby. I'm grateful to all the help that I've gotten from a lot of great people, and I'm probably going to forget some, but Strange Bus uh, for doing the simulcasts, helping me out, doing a lot of collabs. Amalgamash, great collab that we did recently. A lot of good feedback. PSK Studio, aka Knucklehead, one of our players. A lot of great suggestions. I haven't taken all of his advice to heart, but he has a lot of great feedback, and he still, continues to provide that, and I'm grateful for it. I'm really thankful for the people on our Discord. We've gotten so many new people recently. It's just amazing. I think we started out, we had maybe 20 people, which was great. And then most of them came from Ye Olde Inn or were people I knew already. And now we've got something like almost 80 people. And a lot of them, I think, have come because of word of mouth, because of mentions we've gotten through Amalgamash and the Strange Bus. I can only chalk it up to that because um, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I'm saying much that a lot of people aren't saying already, but hey, if this is your introduction to anything, like HeroQuest, Space Crusade, Battle Masters, thanks. I'm not saying you have to stick with us like, this is your exclusive one-stop shop for everything. I know that there's different places you can go for information. Some people really like Twitter. Some people really like Facebook. I personally, I don't like that format as much for what I have to say and do. But if that's where you get your info, great. I appreciate you spreading the word about us to those platforms. Various people have told me, hey, you should get a social media account on all the platforms and advertise constantly. But then you run into the question, well, what do you do? Let's say you have a Twitter account. Do you create stuff that's specifically for the people on Twitter that people on Discord or Facebook won't get, or vice versa? I mean, I'd be more inclined to just say, yeah, there's an update, come quick. Oh, there's a new video, come quick. And maybe that would just discourage people from branching out or maybe encourage them to stay where they're at. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that some more. But as we get bigger, if we get bigger, you know, um, we'll just have to consider like, do we market ourselves in a different way? I mean, it's small time operation here. If I were a big company with tons of money and lots of employees, it would be easy, trivially easy to send somebody out and just say, yeah, create a mailing list for us, create a Twitter profile, create a um, TikTok account, create a Facebook page, keep it updated. I don't know. I'm kind of more old school like that. Maybe I'm stuck in my ways, but I mean, I'm open to feedback. So I've only got so much time to devote to this, but I appreciate all the people that have helped us. I mean, we've got some new moderators on Discord, so be nice to them. Now, I don't want people to think that coming in here that this is um, just a megaphone. This is just a bully pulpit. Like, I'm not out here just to share my opinions and then that's all. Like, it's not meant to be an echo chamber. Like, when I conceived of HeroQuest fans, I really wanted it to be a gathering place for fans of the game. And not to take away from any of the other communities, like the ones on social media or on like Ye Olde Inn or that Italian forum, which is really big. I don't speak Italian though, so I can't really get as much out of it as a native speaker could. But yeah, it's not the only place in town, and it's never meant to be that way. And I don't want people to think that they can't disagree with me or share their stuff like I'm going to be jealous or something. It's like, no. If you want to come in and promote your stuff, your website, your channel, great. Like, I'd love to do a collaboration with you. I'd love to do, share some of your stuff and direct people, check out your community. So I'm totally down with that as far as cross promotion. I'm not asking people to, take the place over and troll it or anything, but there is a certain, I guess there's, as the leader, if you will, of HeroQuest fans, I guess I do leave my stamp on the place, but at the same time, I don't want people to feel like they can't be a part of it and take an active role and do things when I'm not around, as far as like starting new conversations, posting up your content. I mean, within reason, of course. Any community is going to have some moderation. So obviously, we're going to crack down on people that abuse the system. We opened a new marketplace, so you can go in there and you can trade. You can sell stuff. So, like, if let's say you've got some HeroQuest content you want to sell to somebody, you got a game system, you got some minis or something you want to sell, hook up with somebody, take it to private message, take it to email, call each other up on the phone, whatever. It can be a place to do it. Again, keep it legal. Don't make us step in there and lay the law down. So, but it's a thing people wanted. I know there's people out there that will offer their services, to paint. Like, they'll paint your miniatures for you for a small fee, or they'll create custom artwork for you. Hey, if you want to do that, great. We're not trying to turn this into a big, like, obviously it's not going to be like Amazon or something, but I mean, just use common sense. Be a grown up about it. If you want to connect with fans here in that way, that's great. We've got that marketplace section of the Discord. So like I said, that's a newer thing. Mostly though, I mean, the Discord started out as a way, and it was Shadzar's idea, so credit to him. And even though he's not with us anymore as far as the community, I mean, he'd always be welcome back. But he chose to walk away. I hope he's doing well. Hope his family's doing well. But he laid the foundations of Discord for us. He wanted it to be a place where we could talk about stuff, and it wouldn't have to be under the same management as Yield In. So I have no problem with the guys over at Yield In, but I know they had certain strong opinions about certain topics and things. And so we tried to create a niche for that too. So if we were going to talk about maybe certain mods or stuff in the rumor mill that maybe is not as friendly for like a forum, I mean, we're still doing that, but we're still trying to keep it to, like a friendly level. So it's still a friendly community. We're still not trying to be a place where it's all about flame wars and clicks. And like, I've seen some communities go that way, and I definitely don't want to encourage that on HeroQuest fans. I want it to be a friendly environment where people can hang out, talk, reminisce, show off their creations, get tips on painting, on modeling, on writing quests, do play tests, meet up with people that they can play games with, either virtually or in person, get HeroQuest news, just have a good time. That's what it's about. And some people prefer to just lurk, and maybe they'll look something up occasionally. Be a repository of knowledge. That's another thing. But I have no problem linking to places like Yield In. Stuff that's on Twitter, I encourage people to repost it, or Facebook, because I don't have an account on Twitter. And yeah, people say, well, you should just get one. Just do it yourself. But I know that there's people that are on there all the time, and I trust those reporters that they bring us the information, and that's awesome. I think that's great, because we're not paying them a dime, we're not demanding anything of them, and they still are bringing us like awesome content. And so it's like you're part of HeroQuest fans, not the brand, but you're part of fans of HeroQuest who help each other out and who contribute stuff. So I really like that, and that's why I'm part of this community. That's why I'm still part of it. I mean, if it was just about me and my opinions, yeah, I can only go so long. I can only rant about a game for so long, right? I'd rather be playing it. But this community spirit keeps me going and inspires me and makes me want to just keep on doing it. So thank you to all of you out there. And I also made a little bit of an executive decision. So with the Discord, when people join, we give you a role on HeroQuest Fans Discord. And yes, the link is there. That should be the permanent link. that you see on your screen down below. When you go there, you get a role. So our moderators will give you hero as like the default one, basically. So hero means that you can go to the hero channel and talk about being a hero player, all the stuff that comes with. But there is also a GM channel, Game Master. That's what it stands for, GM, if you don't know. Zargon is the name of the evil wizard player in HeroQuest who controls all the monsters. And being Zargon can be a lot of fun. It can also be a challenge. So there's a little bit of a delay in the stream, sorry. But yeah, that's the Discord link down below. So please feel free to join us. If you're new to Discord, don't worry. We'll guide you through it. It's really easy. It's free. But yeah, the hero role basically gives you the spoiler-free hero channel. If you want the GM channel, just name it. And, it's kind of a fun thing. So Zargon was the evil wizard character's name in North America. So in the US, where I'm from, that's what it was all about. Zargon we thought of as this evil wizard. He was like Saruman, but in the HeroQuest universe. And for European players, he was called Morcar. And there was some confusion because Stephen Baker, the original creator of the game, he intended the bearded guy with the red cape to actually be Mentor, the good wizard, so kind of like the Gandalf of that universe, the guy that gives you your missions. Well, in any case, Morcar was the name of the bad guy. And actually, there's a historical figure from European history called Morcar. You can look him up. He wasn't an evil wizard, just so you know. He wasn't a chaos magician. But yeah, Morcar. So if you want your role to be Morcar, same thing as Zargon, gives you access to that GM channel where you can talk about ways to kill the heroes, ways to make the quests interesting, spoilers about quests that you're testing out. Maybe like, well, what should I do in this situation? That kind of thing. And if you're a fan of the Japanese version, special thanks to Hispa Zargon, R&B, Bob, and all the people that worked on that translation so that non-Japanese speakers could understand it. The Japanese version of HeroQuest, the evil wizard, is called Grimdead. There was some debate about how do you pronounce his name, but it seems to be Grimdead or Grimdeath is the name. It's pretty cool. But yeah, same iconography, same guy. He's the one that controls the quest. So yeah, anyway. So yeah, if you come to Discord, you're going to pretty much be a hero unless you tell us otherwise. If you want access to the GM channel, let us know. Because I know some people love to be the GM. I love to do it. A lot of times I do it out of necessity because nobody else necessarily knows how to play the game if we're playing with new people or they just don't want to be bothered. But I mean, I like to play as a hero as well. I don't get as much of an opportunity to do that. So if you're curious, but if you don't want to hear spoilers, you don't have to be part of that little channel. Yeah, Strange Bus. Welcome. Grimdead. Yeah, good old Grimdead. Yeah, they and I love the Japanese translation. I mean, I don't speak any Japanese at all except like sayonara. I wouldn't know the first thing about it. But they call him the Demon King or the King of Demons, which supposedly is a common term, like the big bad, the final boss, like the evil overlord. I guess it's just a term that was common then. I mean, that's 1991, so I don't know how in depth to get with that, but I'm just going by what other people have told me. So anyway, yeah, so we've got some things to talk about. First thing, acknowledging the Strange Bus, he is going to be having, and Jacer J22, welcome. And Supa8, welcome. Now, I know Sound Alerts is a bot. We're trying to monitor these bots because, unfortunately, we did have a problem with some, shall we say, dangerous AIs that we had to remove from the chat. But, yeah, so Rantcast. We're going to have to get a voice actor to do that or record ourselves just saying Rantcast until our voices are sore. We did a great stream with The Strange Bus over on twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus called Rantcast, where we just talked about stuff that we're passionate about, stuff in the video game world, stuff in the board game world, a lot of strong opinions, but we had a great time and we didn't fight. We weren't like, trying to choke each other out or anything. It was mostly just like back and forth, talking about topics, sharing opinions. Um, yeah, just letting it all air out. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was great. And Super 8 is a bot. Well, I have nothing against artificial persons, but at the same time, thank you. We'll have to put the kibosh on that. Yeah, certain bots we need. Certain bots, they're just kind of like ticking time bombs, unfortunately. Thank you. So long, Super 8. So long. May you find a better place to where you go from here. Yeah, so there's going to be another rant cast. So I think Strange Bus just posted it on YouTube. Actually, Strange Bus, if you want, go ahead and post the link in the Discord chat if you would like to share with everybody. Actually, I can grab it too. Let's see who's quicker. We're going to be having another rant cast tonight on Twitch on Strange Bus's channel. So promoting him.
Got him!
Got him. That's great. Yeah, sound alerts. Gotta love it. Thank you, Strange Bus. Yeah, it's like whenever somebody gets killed or a bot gets banned, it's like, got him. All right, so I just posted a link to The Strange Bus on Twitch. That's where you'll be seeing the rant cast later tonight. Do we have an official start time, Strange Bus? If you're watching, if you're listening. I know we talked about it, but just to give people a heads up when they should be heading over there to check it out. I mean, the VOD, of course, will be posted. And like me, he has made affiliate status. Congratulations. So it takes us a little bit of time to repost our VODs on YouTube. Nice. Okay. So as he said there just a moment ago, 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. So in about 5.5 hours from now, the second ever Rantcast will be debuting. And we do have a special guest. I believe I can reveal that now. Our first special guest, assuming he can still make it, which I think he can, is Comrade Polsky, who played with us. And he was kind of late for our video game retrospective. Well, no. What am I saying? Not the retrospective. The first Rantcast. He was a little late for it, and he really wanted to contribute, so he was willing to do it. So I'll just put this out there to anybody else out there. I mean, if we had a giant crowd of people, I guess we'd have to draw straws. But generally speaking, if you want to collaborate with us, if you want to be part of it, just let us know. Give us a little heads up, and we'll fit you in. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if you want to be part of the Rantcast, I mean, we have certain rules. We're not going to go overboard with the obscenities, but I mean, there may be a little bit of profanity in there as people kind of get passionate. We're not we're ranting about stuff. We try to keep it, there's going to be no personal attacks, so we're not going to be like insulting each other for disagreement. But there may be strong opinions, and you may not agree with us. We're not trying to alienate people. I mean, people on Discord are welcome, or on Twitch or YouTube. You don't have to agree with us. That's the bottom line. You don't have to agree with us. In fact, we want to hear your reasoned arguments of why you think we're wrong. Because, I mean, we're arguing about games and stuff. And, it's a big enough community. We can have those respectful disagreements, even passionate disagreements, and have a good time. So it's not like the political discussions where it can get ugly fast, which is, unfortunately, that's why we kind of tamped that down in our community. We chose to do that. There's other places where you can talk about that easily enough. And I know we could do an entire Rantcast about like office politics or corporate politics or, just all these other issues, which are important and big. But we're more thinking of it from the perspective of like players, the perspective of ordinary consumers, people that enjoy stuff. And it's like there's certain things we'd like to see happen. And for whatever reason, the powers that be say no. And it's like, okay, well, why couldn't they do this or that? And so a lot of it gets into that. Now, why doesn't this game company do this? Why don't they give us this? But it isn't all negative either. I mean, there's a lot of positive in there too. It's like, well, I like what they did here. Why can't they continue doing that? Or you've got an example of this company doing it right, or this particular product. Let's see more of that. And if we can get more people talking about that, that's great. You can go into your communities, have these discussions, send that feedback to these companies, because they claim that they want to hear from us, that they want to hear from the fans, from their consumers, their players. So why not share it? Because if they think they can make more money appealing to us rather than some other interest, then that's going to benefit us, and they're going to do it. So, I mean, because a company that isn't able to cater to their audience, isn't able to recognize their fan base and please their customers, is going to run into trouble, right, before too long. So that's what it's all about. So obviously do it in a respectful and civilized way. That's what we're all about. Because, I could reference all kinds of videos. People talk about toxic communities, toxic. It's like, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean that people are just rude to each other? Does that mean that you can't say what you feel? Does that mean that, it's new people aren't welcome? Does that mean that, oh, you're not a true fan unless you believe this? There's a lot of ways to think about that. Maybe that'll come up on the Rantcast or a future Rantcast. But I feel like if people can just recognize each other for what they are, which is another human being, just say, hey, look, here's another person. We happen to like the same game. We disagree on how to play it. That's cool. We still have that one thing in common, and we can be respectful. But we can still have a debate about it. We can still have a friendly argument. And at the end of the day, we still walk away and have fun, that's what I think. So this could have been a soapbox episode, but it's not. So let's get back into it. So yeah, definitely check us out on the Rantcast, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on The Strange Bus on Twitch. So twitch.tv/TheStrangeBus. And let's see who we've got here. Also, thank you to our subscribers. I think we did have some new subs, so thank you for that. And hey, if you've got a channel you want to promote that's along the same lines of kind of what we do, if you're one of these miniature painters like PSK or Wicked Mini Painting or Gareth Hreidmar, if you do tabletop gaming, if you're like Les Cargo or Dark Molinet, or if maybe you like to do Star Wars vintage gaming, if you're a retro gamer, if you're like Strange Bus, kind of a jack of all trades, any of those areas of interest, I mean, we love to promote your stuff. So just tell us what's going on. Tell us what you do. You want to do a collab? It'd be great. So I'm just throwing that out there. Join us on the Discord. Actually, let me post a quick link to the Discord as well. I know this is kind of a chatty beginning here, but you know how I roll. Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. Sorry about that. I think I said that already. Yeah, the Discord link is in the picture. So if you can see that, you can see it. All right. Okay. So here's the topic I want to talk about today. We've got some news in the world of HeroQuest. So despite you seeing Space Crusade here, this is about HeroQuest. So in HeroQuest, you've got your 4 heroes, and there was a new thing recently. This was not an official announcement. Yeah, we're getting all kinds of lag here. Oh, it's back. Okay, good. So we had some announcements, and basically what it is... Okay. Oh, sweet. I just realized something. So what we can do is take our browser window, and we can just drop it down. Sorry, just doing a little adjustment here. All right, so we're still within. Okay, cool. So we get to show off Elvyler's awesome artwork, which he contributed. Thanks for doing that, Elvyler. Great contribution to the community here. So we're going to take a look over at Yield-In, as we often do. So there's a new hero collection coming out for HeroQuest. It's called the Rogue Heir of Elathorn. Now, Elathorn, you remember, is the substitute name they came up for Alathorn. Alathorn apparently has to do with the elves, and it's from Warhammer Fantasy. So they changed it to Elathorn, just like so many other things for the remake of HeroQuest. You know, it's Blackfire Pass, they changed it to Darkfire Pass. World's Edge Mountains, World's End Mountains. You know, they Chaos Magic, Dread Magic. They changed all that stuff. But kept the game relatively the same. Well, there was that Guardian Knight debacle that everybody remembers, where they came up with a new pack, which was just a new hero, and you could just buy it individually and add it to your game system. You know, he had his own cards, his own skill cards, and we've play tested him. We've enjoyed the Knight, the Guardian Knight character. There's a male and a female version. He had 3 skills, so it came with the cards. It's $15. But the problem was, unfortunately, they wildly underestimated the community that wanted it. So they didn't produce enough. They made an exclusive deal with GameStop. There was a lot of delays. A lot of people didn't get it. A lot of people had canceled orders. Or they had to wait a long time to get it, and they couldn't produce more. They had to issue an official apology to the fans. So with this new one, if you've seen Amalgamash's video, oh yeah, welcome Striker, awesome. Okay, yeah, there's definitely a delay. Sorry about that. Yeah, Striker 667, longtime visitor. So Amalgamash scored a quick telephone interview with one of the marketing reps there, a big guy in the company at Avalon Hill, and they promised him, from what he says, so check out Amalgamash on YouTube. They promised him that this new hero that we heard about through these random websites posting pre-orders, and then the websites went down or they removed the listings, which was weird. There was no official announcement. There's going to be a new hero. And he said, no. It's not going to be like before. The scalpers are not going to be happy because we're not going to limit the supply. We're not going to make it a limited time exclusive. It's going to come to retail, apparently. So I was like, oh, sweet. If all that information is accurate, if this guy is not blowing smoke, if he's telling the truth, which, I mean, I don't doubt Amalgamash. Question is, can they make good on those promises that they're giving? Because there's no official announcement yet. I would say if that's all the case, then this is going to be great. I vowed basically that from now on, even though I love HeroQuest, I'm not going to pre-order stuff that's limited time exclusive. I just want to be right there with the ordinary buyer. I'll wait till it comes to retail. Because really, that's what a lot of people had to do with the pledge version. I mean, a lot of countries, they never even heard of it until it was already too late. A lot of fans who would have bought the game had no clue. It was already too late. They couldn't participate, and they had to wait. They only had to wait, let's see, we waited a year to get the game after the fundraiser, but then it was only like 2 or 3 months after that it came to retail. Not all of it. There was a ton of exclusives that they missed out on, but the main stuff they got. So if they're going to go in that direction with this is a really good thing, even though it's just a hero pack. I mean, Covert Nerd podcast, Lee over at Covert Nerd, great guy, great supporter of us and our program, and he does great content on Twitch and YouTube with nostalgic stuff. His idea was, after they release the game system and a couple of these quest packs, why don't they just release just some smaller packs with just like new heroes or new monsters, new furniture, new cards, and if people want to snap those up, they can. And it appears that that's what they're doing. So I think it's a great thing, but it's got to be available to the masses. That's the big deal. So we have yet to hear officially that that's the case, but it sounds like, from what Amalgamash is saying, that it will go in that direction. So that's really good news. So here's the thread over at Yield-In. Let me just adjust the camera here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So let's get my browser lined up. Okay. So yeah, still in shock. I was the first one on the forum to post about this, but I can't take credit for the scoop. So there were people on Facebook that were talking about it and probably Reddit as well. It's usually what happens. As reported in Discord by Do My Montalto, Great guy, has done a lot of like great reporting, and also Elveiler, of course. Apparently, there's a leak, a rumor, etc., of a new remake style hero collection. Here's hoping it's not another limited run exclusive debacle like the Guardian Knights, but we'll see. So that was my impression at the time. That was on the 8th. So I had to wait until it was time to do the stream. Now, there's a link here, and I think they've taken this down now. But let me check. It's from meeplemart.com, which I'd never heard of. Yeah, we're sorry. The web address you entered is not functioning on our site. So they've taken this down. You can go to archive.org and see it. But yeah, so here's what it is. So this was a picture. And let me just, okay. Yeah, just adjust that here. So as you can see before you, pretty much the same cookie cutter mold as the Guardian Knight. You've got two miniatures, a male and female version. In this case, they're elves. Looking at the design, okay, so they've got these big, huge knives or daggers. I mean, those are big daggers, like almost short sword sized. HeroQuest has always kind of had an exaggerated, almost cartoony style to it. So they got the big, almost donkey ears. I don't know. I prefer the Spock ears in my elves, but granted, it's a miniature, so it stands out more. So HeroQuest already has an elf who has the 3 spells and can use any gear, but this is a variant of it. So they're calling him the Rogue, or her the Rogue. And I know that rogues are kind of like a stock character in fantasy genre, the fantasy gaming genre. I mean, it's always like warriors or fighters, or barbarians, wizards, dwarves, elves, rogues, clerics, paladins. What are some other ones? Warlocks, druids, rangers, or archers. You know, there's your stock characters, monks. So, you know, people are nostalgic about that, and it's like, oh, okay, well, what would HeroQuest do with a character like that? So he's an elf, but he's got some other abilities. So that's the picture that we have so far. Now I'm waiting for some other more detailed information. I mean, that's fine. The miniatures are always kind of what people go for first. I don't think there's anything wrong with the miniatures. I mean, they look cool. I mean, a dagger in HeroQuest is like your weakest weapon, basically. So what's the big deal having a dagger? I mean, the wizard starts with a dagger, and he can throw it, and then it's gone. But it's like a 1 body point attack. So there is a little bit more information. So there is the little presentation. I mean, the Guardian Knight pack was $14.99 MSRP. And so this is what it looks like. This is the new pack. This looks to be a computer rendered version, so it's not the final, just like the miniatures. So you've got the little box, of course, and it's like overly produced, fancy packaging. So you've got like this little book thing that opens up, and I'm sure those miniatures will be wrapped in little bags that have stickers on them. And then there's a little story blurb on this. This looks like just a piece of paper, official communique. Presumably it's from the Elven Kingdom or whatever, just kind of introducing them, just a little story blurb. And it's on like this linen finish cardstock as opposed to just a piece of paper. So that's cool. But yeah, you could just read that off. The way the Guardian Knights were handled, and I think this was a great decision on their part, is it wasn't like they had, you know, a bunch of quests with the hero already incorporated. There's no story arc. It's just, here's who this person is. Use them however you want. Enjoy. And they gave you 3 skill cards. So instead of spells, there's like 3 skills. And then a couple weapons, just to show you what weapons they have, even if they're copies of the game. And then the hero card where it shows you their stats. So their starting attack dice, defend dice, body, which is their life, mind, resistance to magic, and just a typical hero. So you could swap out one of the 4 for one of these, or add him in as a mercenary, or add him in as an NPC, whatever you wanted. Paint them, or don't paint them. But the problem is you can't really see what those cards actually show. I mean, you can see there's artwork and text, but yeah, we're waiting for more information on that. Now, there is some information, and it's slowly leaking out, slowly coming out. Because again, this was not an official announcement. It didn't appear on Twitter for Avalon Hill or Zargon, which is Hasbro HeroQuest. But here was the report, and this was sent to me by Dumai Montalto. Hello, I got a message from my neighborhood game store. I have a standing order for any HeroQuest expansions that come our way. They told me that Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord is available to order. Yeah, I know that's oversized. Sorry, I'm just reading it. However, they listed a third expansion, and it's not Frozen Horror, which we know is coming out. HeroQuest: The Rogue Heir of Elathorn. I've seen zero information about this expansion. Has anyone heard something? North America / Canada distribution area. Looking at late June, early July. And it says, hey Frank, 3 HeroQuest expansions will be out by end of month. I just wanted to make sure you wanted one of each before I put in the order. Details are below. Now, these dollar values have not been verified. But HeroQuest: The Rogue Heir of Elathorn, $54.99. Is that Canadian money? That seems pretty high. HeroQuest: Return of the Witch Lord expansion, $54.99. And then HeroQuest Keller's Keep expansion, $29.99. They may have just have been a typo. He may have meant to say $29.99 for the smaller one, because it's just a couple of minis and cards, as opposed to a big box full of stuff, which is what Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord actually are. All right, and then this other website was posted, universaldist.com. So as you can see, as fans, this is what we're doing. We're scouring the web for anything, any scraps of information about HeroQuest, and then we're just scrutinizing it and analyzing it to death. And then finally, the company themselves acknowledge it. Well, Striker667 is asking if this replaces the elf in the group. Now, the knight felt like a barbarian replacement. Here's the thing. As with all the new heroes in HeroQuest, see, it's something to keep in mind. HeroQuest as a game, it says 2 to 5 players, right? One player is always Zargon, the GM, who controls all the bad guys and runs the quest. Any other players are the heroes. So the quests themselves, by and large, 99.9999% of the quests are designed for 4 heroes. And those heroes are the Barbarian, the Elf, the Dwarf, and the Wizard. Those are the ones that everybody who owns HeroQuest has, because they come in the box. There's a couple solo quests that are extremely difficult because they're kind of unbalanced. Because every quest is designed for 4 heroes, really. And so if you've only got like one other person playing, they control all 4 heroes. If you've got 2 people, each of them controls 2, or 3 and 1. You don't have to have 4 people playing. So as far as Buzz, yeah, Sika Hashem, welcome. Exactly. Yeah, we were talking about marketing and talking about social media and went round and around with it. But I love to hear everybody's opinion about it, and it's cool stuff. So yeah, if anybody has stuff that I'm not addressing, please bring it up. Yeah, so the question is, what would you do with something like the Knight or the Rogue? Well, they don't tell you, which means, in the world of HeroQuest, whatever you want. So if they give you a Bard, what do you do with the Bard? He could take the place of the Barbarian. He could take a place of the Elf, the Wizard, the Dwarf. He could do a quest by himself. You know, you could... I mean, they don't say so, but potentially you could have 5 heroes. Why not? I mean, the game would take longer. Technically, it's still a 5-player game, but up to 5 players. But I mean, there's nothing that says that you have to use the Bard, or the Druid, or the Warlock, or the Knight. And if you want to substitute, it's totally up to you. As far as like what would be most balanced, who's to say? Because yeah, you could say the Elf has 3 spells. And with the new characters they created, like in the Mythic tier, which most people didn't get because most people weren't part of the pledge drive. Most people just have the retail version, which is the game system. They don't have access to those heroes, but they could homebrew them. So let's say you've got the Bard, and he's got 3 spells. The Druid, 3 spells. The Warlock, 3 spells. The Knight, 3 skills. And now the Rogue, 3 skills. Well, Okay, so yeah, it sort of seems logical that they would replace the elf, right? Maybe. But you could also look at it as, okay, the knight had 7 body points. Who else has 7 body points? The dwarf. Now, if you replace the dwarf, well, the dwarf's special ability is that he could disarm traps really easily, whereas everybody else would have to buy a toolkit for 250 gold, which in the first quest you have no gold, so you can't have one already. So if there's a trap, you just got to jump over it, which isn't good, or you can't disarm it. So not having the dwarf is a big disadvantage at first. I mean, even though the trial doesn't have any traps, which is the first quest that most people play. So it's kind of a toss-up. Do you replace the barbarian or do you replace the dwarf? Now with the rogue, we don't know what the rogue's stats are. Some people have speculated. It's really hard. I mean, you try figuring that out. Can you see from that picture what it is? I can't. And yes, I've zoomed in and I've enhanced it, and I still can't quite see. So yeah, people have speculated. Let's look at the information. So yeah, the answer is whatever you want. I like how they estimate the game time to be 120 minutes. I mean, that's probably what they intended, 1 to 2 hours. Our games tend to go longer because we chit chat and because when you're playing, you've got to compensate for the lag, the delay online, and people like seeing where stuff is, adjusting the cameras, all that stuff. A noble skirmisher who is deadly with small blades, but you lack the ability to use metal armor and shields. Interesting. Equipped with your trusty bandolier, you are always prepared for danger. Important feature to highlight, the rogue can perform range attacks, which make it a desired character to add to the collection. Must have HeroQuest game. So some translation issues there, potentially. So 2 miniatures and 12 cards. Again, the same as the Guardian Knights. 2 hero cards, so that would be just the stat card that shows the picture of the character. 6 skills, so 3 for each, because it's just the male and the female, they're exactly the same. They just have their own set of cards. And then 2 daggers, and 2 bandoliers. So yeah, you've got a hero with 3 skills. His starting weapon is a dagger, and his starting armor? What's a bandolier? Well, in real life, a bandolier would be like a sash or a sash or a whatever, a wearable, like a leather strap that you can attach your bullets or your weapons to. A bandolier for daggers in this case. So we're all speculating that what the bandolier does is, let's say he's got 1 dagger and he's got 1 bandolier. The bandolier gives his dagger, essentially gives him infinite daggers, is our thought. Because normally you throw a dagger, yeah, it may hit an enemy 1 body point of damage, but whether it hits or not, it's gone. It's lost after it's thrown. So the bandolier either allows him to retrieve it or it allows him to just like whip another dagger out. So it's a piece of equipment. Now the question is, can other heroes use the bandolier? You might say, well, why would they? Well, what if you're playing and he gets killed? Can somebody else like pick up the bandolier and all of a sudden, like the wizard could have a bottomless throwing dagger container? Or is it only for that specific character, no one else? Does it matter? Like, can the elf use it? Does it matter at all? Are his daggers just like regular daggers, or are they special? Like, are they stronger than just a regular dagger? Because you could maybe do it that way, maybe for balance sake. Maybe another hero gets the bandolier, but his daggers don't have as great a chance of hitting, like the rogues are. I mean, there could be all kinds of ways. So we don't know right now, unless anybody else watching or listening has some updated info. Maybe by the time this is posted, there will be an update on that, but we'll see. So we don't quite know what it does. Yeah, utility belt or bag. Thank you, Sik Hashem. Yeah, so you think of, in movies they always do it, and people that cosplay as heroes is like, well, how does he carry all this gear? Well, he's got a bandolier of daggers or of magic bottles or whatever. Yeah, and we don't know what the skill cards are. Now with the knight, each of the skill cards, they were just like a spell. Like it gives you a special ability, but you can only use it once per quest. And once they're all gone, they're gone. The next quest, you get them back again. So they're usually situation-specific stuff. So like with the knight, as long as he had his shield, he could use it to like absorb a hit that would normally take out his friend, or he could restore a body point if he was about to die. There's like different ways he could do those skills. So it's a cool way to have a non-magical hero who would still have cool stuff that he could do. With the fan community, I mean, there was the combat cards. So I've been using the combat cards with the barbarian and the dwarf so that they still have like cool combat maneuvers that they can do in certain situations rather than just being like, oh man, too bad there isn't a wizard or an elf to do a magic spell right here, or wait till I find a super rare spell scroll or alchemist item. So I think it could be a fun hero to play with, especially if it's in retail and anybody can buy it and it's not just, it's going to sell out in one day like the Knights did and you couldn't get it for 6 months. That's kind of a crappy situation. A small satchel, if you will. Yeah, I was trying to think of like military webbing. Is that the proper term? I wasn't in the military. So any of you veterans out there could tell me or what it is. But yeah, it's something you wear on your body that allows you to attach gear, not just a belt. Because in HeroQuest, there's no like limited carrying capacity. Like in so many of these fantasy games, it's like, you can only carry so many weapons or so many gear, so many pieces of gear. It's not realistic like that. It's just, you just write it on your character sheet. If you run out of room, you write on the back, There's no point in having like 2 swords except as a backup, I guess. Like if one of them gets destroyed. But here's the other question. What does the satchel do in terms of other things? Does it increase his defense or anything like that, or agility? All right, so Hispazargon mentioned this was on Facebook. So yeah, if any of you are viewing the HeroQuest groups on Facebook and you see something that isn't posted here, let us know, post it, share it. So we're just talking here in the discussion. Yeah, Elvylar's Game Room. I think Strange Bus was mentioning that was a cool place to check out, so check it out. He's saying these skills better be really good. Oh yeah, going back to the stats. So if the rogue can't use a shield, so a shield gives you 1 body point of, or not 1 body point, 1 defend die. So if you're thinking of the game, everyone's base defense is 2. So you've got 2 defend dice. And normally what would you do? You'd save up your gold, and between quests you would buy a helmet. Okay, that gives you 1 extra, so now you're up to 3. You buy a shield, now you're up to 4. And then what do? You buy body armor. So it'd either be chainmail, which gives you 1, which is very expensive, by the way, or you'd buy plate mail, which is the most expensive thing you can buy. It's like 850 gold coins. Chainmail is 500. So plate mail gives you 2, which you can wear that in place of chainmail. It's like you can't wear them both, but it slows your movement down to like 1 die. So normally you roll 2 d6s to move. With plate mail, you only move 1. You only get to roll 1. Now there was exceptions to that. You could find a rare artifact called Born's Armor, which was just like plate mail, except it didn't slow you down at all. And the knight, they made it so that if he wears plate mail, he can still roll 2 d6s. But so when you think about it, it's like 5 or 6 defend dice is what you could do. You'd have to spend a lot of gold to get to that point, or be really lucky. And yeah, there were potions that would allow you to maybe defend once, or as long as you could see monsters, you could down a potion and it would up your defense by 1 or 2. You could be under the influence of a spell like Rock Skin that would give you 1 extra defend die, and the European version it was 2, but it was a little stronger there. But yeah, there were different like temporary bonuses, or buffs as they call them in game terms. But yeah, if he can't use a shield, that means he's already 1 less than everybody else, except for the wizard. The wizard can't use a shield either. But then they say this. They say you can't use a shield or metal armor. Now this was a big debate, because what is metal armor? I mean, a helmet is made of metal, and it's called armor. A shield has some metal in it, and it's handheld armor. But I took it to mean, this is just my interpretation, I took it to mean that when they say armor, they mean body armor. So specifically, they're talking about the equipment known as plate mail or plate armor, chainmail, and what else? The only other body armor that they have in the game would be like the cloak, which is actually in this version it's an artifact, the wizard's cloak. So we're not even talking about that. Or the bracers. So I think in the remake version of the game they gave you bracers, which was European armor. The point of it was to give the wizard something else because they said specifically the wizard can't wear armor, or he can't wear heavy armor. So they said, okay, the bracers are made out of hardened leather and he can wear them. It's like, okay. And they're kind of expensive. So, all right, so if you have bracers, but then they also clarified in the remake version, you can have bracers and you can combine the bracers with a helmet or shield. So I'm going to assume from this that the rogue could give himself bracers. Okay, so that'd be 3. Can he wear the wizard's cloak? We don't know. That could be 4. Can he wear a helmet? If we don't treat the helmet as metal body armor, that could be 5. Now, if he can't wear the helmet, yeah, he'd be a lot weaker. Now, if he has unlimited throwing daggers, okay, that's kind of cool. But keep in mind, each of those daggers is only 1 attack die, so 1 body point of damage, which a lot of monsters have only 1 body point, but still. Maybe those skills allow him to do some tricks that maybe make him stronger. I don't know what they would be. Would it be like poison daggers or throwing a bunch of daggers at once, or maybe getting a lucky hit that pierces armor? I don't know. I don't know what they would be. Maybe there'd be a healing ability, or I guess it could be anything. Does he, dodge an attack, like Matrix out of the way? Like, what do you think of when you think of a rogue? A rogue is kind of like an assassin, I think, in some games. So like a sneaky, like stealthy guy. Not quite a ranger though. Ranger, you think of like an archer. But yeah, a rogue. He doesn't play by the rules. He's kind of sneaky, kind of like a thief. I don't know. There's all kinds of things. But since they're making it up, I mean, this is not a legacy HeroQuest character. It could be anything. Be whatever they want it to be. So I hope it's fun to play. I hope it's balanced. But see, if it isn't, think about it. I mean, it's so easy to homebrew stuff in HeroQuest. You could just change it. And if you don't want him to be a hero, you could have him be a mercenary that you could hire, or have him be an NPC that, I don't know, it's just in some quest. He could be a bad guy. Wouldn't have to be a hero. But at the same time, I hope that it's a fun character and they actually think it through. Looks like it's finished already, so it's not like they're going to change it based on our feedback. Still, these pictures are like pre-rendered, like CGI stuff as opposed to the physical stuff, so they may not have printed it yet. And I sort of suspect that these websites maybe jumped the gun, that they wanted to be posting their pre-orders right away, and they shouldn't have done that, so they got their hands smacked maybe by Hasbro and had to take it down. One of those sites, I think, claimed that they had 10 pre-orders, and they were sold out, and so they took down the listing. That seems a little shady, so I don't know. If I were you, I wouldn't pre-order from any of these sites. I'd just wait, because if it's coming to retail, I mean, why would they lie? That would be really bad to tell reporters things that were untrue. So I would just wait until it comes to retail, and don't pay a scalper. It would just be silly. I mean, if that $55 thing is true, I wouldn't spend $55 on it. I mean, think about it. When you're buying miniatures, I mean, you can get a Reaper Bones miniature, which are really high quality, like plastic, for like $3 in a store. It'd be $5. If it's a bigger miniature, if we're talking about the 28mm scale, like heroic scale miniatures, yeah, if you're buying a dragon or something, maybe it'd be like $40 or 30, 20, depending on the size. I mean, we're talking like huge miniatures that take up your whole desk or something. You'd spend all day painting that. Whereas, little ones like we're used to, little characters, little figurines that are meant to be heroes, or, little individual small characters, not a big, huge boss or whatever, like a dragon. Those are fairly cheap. So yeah, let's say $2 to $5. And then if it's made of metal, maybe 5 to 10. Again, if it's that same standard size. Now, if you're 3D printing stuff, I mean, it costs pennies to 3D print usually, maybe $1 at the most. But some of these services out there, like they'll 3D print resin for you, or even Board Games Maker, they'll charge you a lot more. So you might spend like $10, $15 on a miniature. I think that's a lot. I mean, if you're going to get a lot of use out of them, great. I buy miniatures because I want to play with them. Like, I'll maybe slap some paint on them, but more or less, they're just ready to go on the table. Other people like to put them on display and paint them. So, I don't know. I think if you're painting these, great. But, I mean, they made them red to go in with that color scheme with the other heroes. So yeah, they've removed a lot of the information from the webpage. It's just kind of there. The SKU is not there. So it's kind of interesting that all this happened, but I mean, it happened so fast. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be the first one posting this. Not that posting first means anything, but just kind of like, I'm never the first one. All right. And I pointed out that, yeah, if you want to go to like Reaper Bones, I mean, again, just a popular seller of miniatures, they have all kinds of like rogue type characters. So if this was going to be a limited release, you could easily find, a dagger throwing elf pretty quickly, pretty easily. Yeah, so Elviler and a few other people commented. Yeah, so we don't quite know what the deal is. And it was also pointed out that with the mythic tier heroes, you had heroes that could regain spells. So like they would have 3 spells, and one of them, you use it up, but you could get it back by doing a certain thing, a certain task or feat in the game. So if he has one of those, I mean, potentially, he could do more. It wouldn't just be, oh, he gets 3 tricks with his daggers, and after that, he's just a dagger throwing maniac. But apparently, they don't limit the weapons he can use. So who's to say he couldn't get a battle axe or a crossbow? Of course, if he gets a crossbow, why would he need the throwing daggers? Because a crossbow is 3 attack dice. But if he can't use a shield, can he use the wizard's cloak? Of course, if he uses the wizard's cloak, does the wizard have to give that up? What does it mean? So a lot of speculation, a lot of unknowns with this character. So it'll be interesting to see what Avalon Hill has to say. So yeah, there's a big discussion on Board Game Geek, BGG. That's what that stands for, Board Game Geek. Another popular website. And actually, if you go there, you can find sometimes better deals on buying stuff. Amalgamash had a great video about like finding like game parts on eBay. What was the other one called? Oh, there's another website. Not Mercer. I'm forgetting already, but yeah, there's other websites besides eBay. eBay is the big one, of course, or Amazon for newer products. But yeah, Board Game Geek, you can actually go into their geek market and you could just buy like HeroQuest or Space Crusade from another member and maybe get a better deal. So anyway, but yeah, they had a discussion about this and speculation. Again, just like we're doing. We don't know. What does the Bandolier do? There was some speculation that his stats, I think his character stats, were different. That maybe he had 3 defend dice, that he started with 3 defend dice. Okay, so this is Quardak. If the rogue does indeed have 3 defense dice, I'm inclined to think that it's an innate ability, as opposed to being from a starting armor piece. Unless, as I suggested, that the Bandolier actually is armored, like it's a piece of armor. So he starts with 3 defend dice instead of 2. Because if he starts with more armor than everybody else, maybe it doesn't matter that he can't carry a shield, because in the end he would still have the same defend dice. But if he has to keep the Bandolier to keep his armor up, that would be interesting. It would be an odd design choice. We don't know. It's not currently from an established armor-based equipment card. Yeah, and we really need some close-up, higher resolution photos of those cards. And so I'm going to feel silly if, there's some Facebook or Twitter thing that already has it. Yeah, Amalgamash did a video. I'm going to go ahead and post a link to it here in the chat. This is old news for a lot of people, but still, other people may not, maybe not. Maybe they don't quite know about it. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I enjoy. These discussions. I'm just kind of reacting to the news, and over time it may be that HeroQuest will kind of fade into the background. Maybe it won't be as popular as it once was, and we'll be back to kind of like just playing the game and making our own quests, and that's it. But I think to me the idea that HeroQuest will be on the store shelves, like it'll just be out there. And so if somebody is just looking for a new game to play at game night and Axis and Allies, Risk, Battleship, Chess, Checkers, HeroQuest, Interesting. Why don't I try this out? Like, that's perfect. Because, yeah, you've got this huge, mostly untapped audience. You know, if you're Avalon Hill, if you're Hasbro, you got this huge untapped audience of fans who remember HeroQuest from 1989, 1990, 1991, who grew up, forgot about the game. They've got kids now, and they're like, "Really? HeroQuest is back? Oh, great! I can introduce it to my kids, my grandkids, my nieces and nephews. I can, have some nostalgic fun and introduce them to, Training Wheels, board game, fantasy, tabletop, RPG light, kind of thing." I think that's great. But once you've catered to all those people, what is it going to be? Are you really going to crank out new material every year? I mean, there's a danger of oversaturation. There's a danger of diminishing returns. There's a possibility that you might not be able to just keep delivering quest pack after quest pack that's going to be great. I mean, if they are great, keep doing it, but I wouldn't expect them to keep that up forever. I don't think that's sustainable. They definitely run the risk of tanking the franchise if they do too much. Plus, the whole thing about HeroQuest is you make your own quests. So are they going to write themselves out of business? No. New people will buy the game system, make their own quests, maybe never buy any of the expansions. But there are people that are out there who want to collect everything. Okay, those people are spoken for, but if you can make some cool new miniatures that'll inspire people, like, oh, great, just what I needed, a rogue elf. I'm going to write a whole bunch of quests for him. I'm going to make, a whole adventure around him. I'm going to create a storyline. This is going to be awesome. Like, that inspires people, and that's a cool thing that you can do. Or maybe they won't use that character, but they'll just keep playing the game their way. But you're just giving them tools to kind of spark their imagination. It's kind of like Legos. I mean, when you go and buy a Lego set, you can build the thing that's on the box. But guess what? You can also build anything else you can think of. You can combine sets and build your own stuff. You can build something they never thought of. Just because it shows you one thing on the package doesn't mean that's the only thing you can do. And I feel like HeroQuest as a game is like that. And yes, other games like D&D are meant to be modified and expanded and changed, and you're meant to create your own stories. But HeroQuest does it, I think, a lot easier because it is a simpler game. And if you want it to stay simple, you can. If you want to make it more complicated, you can very easily. You don't have to be familiar with all the lore, and you don't have to have that whole history of tabletop gaming or war gaming to be able to jump right in and do stuff. Yeah. So then there was a discussion of this store 401games.ca making a listing and then having it go down. They were claiming it was $21.95. They were taking pre-orders. So here was the screen grab. HeroQuest, the Rogue Heir of Elethorn, pre-order. Avalon Hill, $21.95, 10 plus available for pre-order. And then it just kind of went away. So it's like, all right, did they get a C&D? What happened? Including shipping to the US, it was about $30. That was JDean80 commenting on that. I mentioned the HeroQuest by Phoenix, these combat cards. So here's what I'm talking about with the combat cards. I love the idea of it, is that you draw a couple random cards at the start of the quest, and your hero, even though he's not a magical-based guy, can have a couple of abilities that he can just whip out at the right time to save the day. So yeah, this is HeroQuest by Phoenix, a really old but awesome page as far as custom content. All right, so I'm gonna have to share up. I'm just gonna share this real quick. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is what I mean when I talk about combat cards. So this is a homebrew, custom content. So Gerwin Browers did the illustrations, nice little pencil sketches, and then Ron Schertz with a Z did the rules. And it's from 2001. So I think this was the first HeroQuest fan mod I ever got. I actually printed it out on a black and white Xerox machine, and I didn't have any card stock, so I took like an old manila folder, and I took like some of that school, like grade school paste, or maybe it was a glue stick. Yeah, I think it was a glue stick. Yeah, or no, it was Elmer's glue. So I actually used Elmer's glue, and I probably used a glue stick later because I thought this is so much easier. And I glued it to the manila folder, and then I cut it out with the scissors. And so I had, like, it wasn't perfectly straight because I was cutting it by hand, but it was so much fun because it's like, oh, we've got these new cards, and they weren't in sleeves or anything, so they got fingerprints on them, but it was great. So you get a couple of these, and it's like, okay, heroic charge. You let out a war cry, and you have two extra combat dice, and your opponent defends with one less. Or dodge and trip. You successfully sidestep an opponent's attack and take no damage. Furthermore, as he rushes by, you trip him, causing him to fall heavily on the ground. The opponent loses his next turn. See, I love this. Heroic sacrifice. You take the hit for your buddy. You could capture an enemy, and then there were also cards for the bad guys. So goblins are notoriously weak. So there's a bunch of things that gave a goblin like a boost. Two or more monsters adjacent to any hero can combine their dice roll for a single large attack. Can capture the hero. Maybe a monster gets wounded, but he shrugs it off. A monster just jumps in. Yeah, I love this. And this idea of these cards, I mean, here it's in the context of Hero Quest, but Space Crusade already had this. Space Crusade has the alien event cards, which are mostly bad, but there's also equipment and orders. So you get those cards randomly, or you could choose them. Actually, I think in Space Crusade, yeah, you could specify, I want these cards. And so in the course of the mission, you get a certain bonus that you could cash in to help you out. So I would be cool if they did more of this. And actually, they could just release a deck like this, just a big deck of combat cards for the good guys and the bad guys that people could just use however they want in the game. But yeah, the idea behind this was you've got your non-magical characters, they get 2. Maybe as a champion, they get 3. Like they complete a certain number of quests. So I love that idea. So yeah, Hero Quest is full of stuff like that. People have adapted things from other games. But I see the skills as kind of drawing from that. So I think that's great. I think utilizing ideas that the community has come up with to make your official products, it kind of acknowledges that creativity and that legacy. Because yeah, a lot of players probably never knew those combat cards existed, but a lot of fans know about them. A lot of fans use them, and I think it's a great thing to have like an official version of that. Because not everybody wants to take the time to print their own cards or glue stuff together, cut it up with the scissors like I did. So yeah, what else do we have coming down the pipe? So okay, so Sikash Shem is commenting. He says, I've been using the combat card since 2010, maybe 2008. Oh, and he's saying the Canadian dollars. Yeah, because as we know, inflation is run rampant. And in Canada, Canadian dollars, yeah, there's a different rate of exchange. So it's about 17 US dollars. So I'll take your word for that, Sikash Shem. But yeah, I think I discovered the combat cards like 2002. And I probably played maybe a year, because it was like we played Hero Quest back in the day, so like 1991, 2, 3, 4, 5, and probably didn't play for another 5 years or so, and then took a long break until like maybe 2016, 2017, when I came back to Yield in, and then it was like, okay, I want to professionally print these and like have them on, glossy or matte, slight, I guess it'd be satin finish, like cardstock, in a nice, and then put them in nice deck protectors too. So yeah, but it all starts out, I mean, you can print them out fancy. I print out proofs first. Yeah, good old combat cards. But there's lots of stuff like this. I mean, there's Evil Wizard deck that Shang did. I'm actually going to be printing out a couple of custom decks for a friend of mine who recently got the remake, and just do it in the new style with the linen finish and the poker size, because the new cards are bigger, poker size cards instead of like US game card size. So yeah, that's a whole aspect. I mean, it's kind of like with Warhammer, there's people that just like to paint and there's people that like to play, and there's people that like to do both. HeroQuest, there's people that just like to play, or people that like to create stuff, or go the extra mile for it. But yeah, anyway. So, so we've got this new hero coming out, and really, when you think about it, I was kind of saying to myself, I hate to say it, but I mean, Hasbro, through their subsidiary, Avalon Hill, has been pretty tight-lipped about HeroQuest stuff. I mean, when you get it in your email, it's kind of like the last, you're like the last to know when you get it in your email. It's mostly they're just talking about G.I. Joe and Power Rangers and Star Wars. Ghostbusters, all their stuff that they do, all their nostalgic products. I'm less interested in that stuff, and I'd rather hear about HeroQuest. I mean, yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan too, but save it for the Rantcast. Yeah, so be sure to check out the Rantcast later tonight, 9 p.m. Central Standard U.S. time with The Strange Bus on Twitch, and then later it will appear on YouTube. And I'm sure we'll have at least a few good hours of content for you, and I'm really looking forward to it. Got to save my voice, though. Anyway, so we do have Gen Con coming up. So Gen Con, of course, is the big game convention. I won't be there. I don't think I've ever been to a game convention other than like E3, but that's video games. But Gen Con is board games. Gary Gygax, I believe, was either the founder or co-founder of it back in the day. So Dungeons, Dragons, and all that. But yeah, Avalon Hill is going to be doing their thing there. And there was an update. Let me just throw up the image here. Sorry for the image there. Let's get, speaking of images. Oh boy, let's get it here. Yeah, a new update came through. Where was it? Sorry, folks. I thought I had it queued up, but apparently I didn't. This was a capture from somebody's phone. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, I found it. So yeah, there was a new update about Gen Con. Of course, Avalon Hill is going to have their presence there this year. So we've got that image. This is just this generic image of HeroQuest that they threw up there. So, sorry to keep throwing up on you. Yeah, so it's just a posed image of, looks like the first quest, just showing off the game. And that's cool because, again, I mean, the retail version of the HeroQuest remake only really came out in December. So a lot of the world is still hearing about it. A lot of countries are still waiting for their version, their translated version to come out. I mean, Italy's getting their version this month. Actually, I think on the 6th. So they would have just gotten it. Yeah, I think Italy just got it. Germany. So there's that. But that's not the only thing. There is another update. If you're on Twitter and Reddit, you already know this stuff. But sooner or later, it needs to filter down. Okay, so here we go. So Avalon Hill Games, this is on Twitter. This summer, we're going on a journey to the mystic lands of Indianapolis, home of Gen Con 2022. This event takes place August 3rd through 6th, and we'll be bringing some of our favorite games. The HeroQuest game system, Betrayal at Hill House Betrayal at Hill House, at House on Haunted Hill. No, Betrayal at House on the Hill, 3rd edition. Risk Shadow Forces, plus 2 surprise titles not yet announced. You can learn more about our plans in our latest blog post, found at the link in our bio. We hope to see you there. And then someone asks, will there be a Gen Con exclusive HeroQuest items for sale? Maybe a new quest book? Avalon Hill says, and that was Kent Caliber, there will not be any Gen Con exclusives for sale, though we plan to have gaming-related swag to share. And so I'm just thinking, well, that's kind of a good thing. Like, I mean, it's one thing to give cool stuff to reporters, but I mean, that could be another rant cast about like access media. You know, like journalists will only say good things about your product because they want to get free stuff. They want to get, exclusives. And so it's kind of a dangerous thing, if you're trying to be an objective journalist, if you're trying to give people the real scoop. It's like you go to these conventions and yeah, they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to get you to say good things about their product. And so they give you like free stuff. But if they give you these exclusives, the average fan is never going to get that stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of a shady thing. So the fact that they're saying they're not going to do that sounds like a good thing. So yeah, I like that. Because yeah, someone could always turn around and say, "Oh, you're just jealous you didn't get that cool swag." But swag, like if they give you a T-shirt that says Hero Quest on it, I mean that's awesome. But if they're going to give you like a quest book, like what's going to happen? Someone's going to sell that on eBay for $300, or somebody's going to just photocopy it and give it to all their friends. Like what's going to happen? So yeah, they probably have the right idea there. Because there's marketing and then there's marketing, right? All right, so let's switch off those images there. Back to the discussion. So we got a poll going. Looks like 33%. There's only 4 people voted for that, but they were saying can't wait to pre-order. Here we go again with 2 votes. I don't care. It's 2 votes. 0 votes saying it can't be real. 1 vote, maybe it'll be good. 3 votes, I'll wait for more info. So yeah, I would wait for more info. I mean, if it's $15 and it's in retail, sure, I'll get it. Why not? It's another character, another mercenary. Maybe those pages were scalper bait. They might be geniuses. Yeah. So anyway, that's that discussion. So by the time this posts, the Rogue Heir of Elathorn, there might be some more info, or we might have to wait till August 3rd. That seems like a long time to wait for new information. So if you have any information, you reporters out there, you HeroQuest fan reporters, if you see anything on any social media sites or any foreign websites rumored, go ahead and post it in the Twitch, post it in Discord, post it on YoldN. Somehow let us know. We can always talk about it. Strange Bus is available to do cameos. I'm just kidding. We were talking about how like you can go on that website Cameo and you can pay celebrities to just do like a little video for you. So I think Ric Flair, like if you pay him $500, he'll get on the phone and go woo. Good old Ric Flair. I mean, if I had that kind of money to burn, I guess yeah, hang out with him, party with Ric Flair. So he's still alive. He's still out there, and I wish him well. Ric Flair, one of the legends. All right, so oh, you don't need to see that. Okay. All right, we are gonna go back and talk about something completely different now. So get my window back here. Okay, so we've got our screen, and let me just check the chat here because I know I was kind of going a mile a minute there talking about stuff. Just want to acknowledge. Oh. Hit the woo button. See, we do need to get some more sound alerts. I'm all in favor of adding more sound alerts to the Twitch stream to have fun. And so, yeah, we've got a couple of fun ones, but we could definitely add more. And I did find the soundboard. So you can actually go to soundalerts.com and you can create your own list of sound stuff and you can just play it. Now, of course, me as the streamer, I get to choose the stuff, but we have certain ones in the chat that you can use your channel points, your gold coins, to just cash in and use. So I've added some actual new rewards or challenges. If you look at the Twitch chat and below where it says send a message, you'll see a little purple and gold icon. That's your channel points, your gold coins. Click on that, and you'll see all of your items there. And I've added some new ones, which have to do with Space Crusade, because I do want to play some Space Crusade here soon. And so we've got some that have to do with that game. So there's a reinforcement for Chaos. So it's very similar to adding a bonus monster for Zargon in HeroQuest. Here you're doing a reinforcement for the alien player, because Space Crusade has a lot in common with HeroQuest, except it's a sci-fi type game. So it's kind of like if HeroQuest was Warcraft, Space Crusade would be StarCraft. I had to think of it for a second. Or like Warhammer Fantasy versus Warhammer 40k. It's kind of like that. Some gameplay differences. But yeah, there's a reinforcement for Chaos. So one extra bad guy for the bad guy player. Bonus equipment for the good guys. And then we've got a bonus alien event card, which is kind of like the Evil Wizard deck. You know, just turn over the card, see what it is. Usually it's a bad thing for the good guys, but sometimes it's a good thing for them. And so you can cash those in for 500 or 600 gold coins. And again, if you want to sub to us, thank you, of course. If you want to gift a sub, thank you. Those do give you bonuses, but for the most part, I've tried to price the stuff that a lot of people can participate. You don't necessarily have to spend real money if you don't want to. If you just want to lurk, you want to build that up through participating, it's a lot to do. Yeah. No, and I want to thank Strange Bus and our other moderators for helping out with the chat, because, yeah, I tend to get off on my own conversation, and sometimes I'll miss when people say stuff, but we definitely want to acknowledge your participation, encourage you to participate, whether that's cashing in one of these rewards or just chatting, posting a link, relevant to what we're talking about. It's all good. Appreciate all of you. Okay, so we've got some new people. Okay, I know Asuka Mikasa is a bot. I do remember that from the other time. Of course, we got Jason J22, Sika Shem, Striker 667, Strange Bus, and then 420 F1T Cool. Is that a bot? It kind of sounds like a bot. Could be a bot. Maybe I'm a little paranoid. But if they are Strange Bus, you have my permission to ban him. If he's not, let him live. Okay, so here's the next thing. So I've talked about this a couple of times. I've teased it. I really like Space Crusade. It's a game I never thought I would own. I mean, I had to look on Board Game Geek to get it. Before that, I was looking all over like European eBay trying to find a good deal. And man, I really got a good deal. And I know that not everybody can do that. I mean, it can be an expensive game. But, you've got your order cards for your different factions. And this is a game, like, I post a video on YouTube, it hardly gets any views at all. Like, only a couple people are interested. Versus HeroQuest can get a lot of views. And that's okay. It's not all about the views. I don't want to scare anybody away, like, if you're not interested in this game. Because here's the thing. This is still HeroQuest fans. Okay? It'll always be HeroQuest fans. I've thought about, well, what if we split the channel off? What if we had another one for other games or something like that? But I don't know. For now, it's all still in the same thing. And so you see that logo there. Thank you, Strange Bus. And I just want to acknowledge that with a little celebration here. So we've got those two bots that were banned.
Got him!
Got him. Great stuff. Yeah. The fact is, there are a lot of similarities between HeroQuest and Space Crusade. And I thought, how cool would it be if we could incorporate the two games together somehow? So we've got our HeroQuest heroes, and yes, I did paint the eyes. Yeah, they've all got crazy eyes now, right? Focus, come on. Yeah, it's got the crazy eyes. I'm working on it, okay? I'm still learning how to paint. I'm sorry. Yeah. That one looks a little better. And then we've got the dwarf. Yeah, he just kind of got like goofy silver eyes. The wizard, I went a little crazy. He kind of looks like that guy from Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, or Lupin 3, with the kind of lopsided expression. Give him a little beard, mustache. Well, anyway, look at that. See, these HeroQuest figures, they fit perfectly on the Space Crusade board. So what if you did a crossover? What would that look like? So I was trying to imagine what it would be, but I think just a little quick play test to kind of show you. So there's two ways, well, there's several ways you could do it. One is to just use HeroQuest assets in Space Crusade. Okay, so you're really just playing Space Crusade when using these miniatures. You could do that. Okay, or you could play HeroQuest using Space Crusade miniatures. Like, okay, but you're really just playing HeroQuest. Or you could invent your own new game that just uses assets from both. You could do that. Well, what I was thinking is, and this is just an experiment, it might be kind of hard to follow at first, but why not use both the rules and have like a combined version? So you could have your Space Marines and your HeroQuest heroes. You could have your Gretchen, your Space Orcs, spelled with a K, from the world of 40K, or Space Hulk. And you could also have your HeroQuest Orcs alongside, See, they're good friends now. So anyway, other things to point out. So here's in HeroQuest, you've got these dice, okay? You got these combat dice, you got these movement dice. In Space Crusade, you got these. You've got these, and they're actually the same size as the original like wooden HeroQuest dice. You've got the light combat dice, and then you've got the heavy combat dice. So they've got 0s and 2s and 3s, or 0s and 1s and 2s. So Space Crusade is focused on mostly ranged combat, but not always. So there's a couple of different mechanics here. So I'm just going to kind of show you. I think it'd be easier to show you than just tell you. And we'll just see if it's unworkable or not. So once again, if you've seen me play Space Crusade, you've seen this. This is just like a board. It's kind of like in HeroQuest how you have that GM screen that shows you all the monster stats. So you've got an orc. So he fires with 2 of these white dice. And then he attacks hand-to-hand with 2 of these. Now the hand-to-hand combat in Space Crusade is interesting because you come up to somebody. So let's say we're going to just do a fight here. Let me just simulate a couple of fights, and I just want to see how it works. I'm kind of thinking out loud with this. So let's say, what should we do? Well, let's start with the Barbarian. He's pretty resilient. So the Barbarian's got 8 body points, according to the HeroQuest rules. Okay, and he starts out with 3 attack dice. Okay, so 3 combat dice for his broadsword. And he's got 2 defend dice, 8 body points, 2 mind points. Now in Space Crusade they don't use mind points. They use armor. So and armor determines like how strong something is. So let's see. Let's say the Barbarian from HeroQuest was fighting an orc from Space Crusade. This would be interesting. Okay. So at range, the Barbarian can't hit the orc, but the orc can shoot at the Barbarian. So let's imagine the Barbarian is going to shoot, or no, the orc is going to shoot the Barbarian. You think, okay, realistically he's going to die because he's just a guy in a loincloth. He can't resist like an exploding fragmentary round from a bolter, right? A space gun. Well, who knows? Let's see. So let's say the orc is going to attack. So he rolls the dice. He gets a 2. Okay? Since the dice are so small, it's a little hard to see. Sorry about that. All right, it's a little better. Okay, so let's say he rolled a 2. Adjust that. Okay, so that's 2 damage. What would the Barbarian do in response? Well, he would just roll his normal 2 defense, right? Okay, so we'll set that aside. So let's say he rolls his 2 combat dice in defense. Nothing. He didn't roll any white shields. So he would take 2 body points of damage. So now he's down to 6. Okay? All right. And the orc, the space orc, he has predefined movement. But for now, we're just not going to do that. His armor value, well, he can move up to 6 squares. And he has 1 for his armor value. Let's say the barbarian decides to approach him on his turn. So the barbarian moves. So he got a 9. He's going to, of course, move up because he has no other choice. He has no ranged weaponry. He'd have to buy a crossbow or stockpile a dagger. This could really get interesting because what if he kills the orc? Can he take his gun? Does he have a weapon now? That could be really interesting. I'll have to probably write some new rules. But just going with it for now. Because normally when you kill a monster, they're just gone. You don't get to loot the body. You don't get their gear. Unless they're carrying an artifact in a rare case. So, okay, so now it's the barbarian's turn to attack. He's going to take out his 3 combat dice. Not using the dice cup this time. Okay. He got 1 skull. It's 1 hit. How is the orc going to defend? Well, it's melee. Okay, it's a melee combat. In Space Crusade, it isn't just one person attacking and then the other person defending. Rather, both would respond. So how does the orc respond? Well, he's got 2 dice for hand-to-hand. So actually, as soon as the barbarian attacks, the orc is going to respond by rolling 2 white dice. To Space Crusade, light combat dice. And he gets, again, a 2. Okay, so he got a 2. The barbarian got a 1. 1 skull, right? So that means the orc has triumphed in the combat. Okay? And now we have to decide. So the barbarian actually did roll 2 white shields. Does that count for anything, or should we just ignore that? The barbarian does have 2 for his defense. What if we said 2 functions like armor? We could just say he's got 2, and the orc, since he only got a 2, he can't overcome that attack and do damage. So actually he did no damage. We could do it that way. Now the question is, though, could the orc ever expect to harm the barbarian in hand-to-hand combat? Well, that's a good question. If he had rolled, his luckiest roll possible would be 2 2s. So he would have gotten 4. That's 2 more above, so he would have scored 2 body points of damage. That is my thought. Now he could have also gotten a 3. That would have counted, and he would have gotten 1 body point of damage on him. But as just a 2, in Space Crusade, if you meet or get underneath their armor rating, you don't score any damage. First, you have to beat their melee roll. Second, you have to score above their armor rating to do damage. And now in Space Crusade, most of the creatures and good guys as well only have 1 life point. More similar to European Hero Quest. But even in North American Hero Quest, most of the characters, like half of the monsters, have only 1 body point. All the heroes have multiple, of course, in both versions. So that could be an interesting thing. So no damage for either side, really. So what if we do it again? Okay, so let's say the orc is going to do another melee attack against the barbarian. He got a 1. Okay, not a very good start. The barbarian gets to respond. Again, he's got the broadsword, so he's got 3. We're comparing like the 2 rule sets. So he got 2 skulls. Uh-oh. So even though the orc is the one who initiated the attack, I mean, hey, he brought it on himself. 2 skulls beats 1 on this dice. So if we follow, this means that actually the barbarian is going to do 1 above. Or no, wait a minute. No. Here's how you do it. So he got 2 skulls. He got 1. So barbarian wins the combat. He got 2. That's 1 above the 1 armor for the orc. So he killed him. Right? Because he only has 1 life point. Got him. Now the question is, can he take his weapon? Or does he not know how to use it? So that's something I'd have to think of, because what would a bolter be like in the hands of a barbarian? Would he suddenly start attacking with these dice if he had one? That'd be kind of cool. So maybe I'd create a card that says, you know, bolter, roll 2 combat dice. Now if he's using his broadsword, it'd be different. So you could kind of mix and match. Okay, let's do another experiment. So instead of the barbarian, let's bring out the elf. So the elf from HeroQuest has 2 attack dice, 2 defend, 6 body, 4 mind. Now he gets magic as well. He has 3 spells, because in HeroQuest this is what you can do. Let's set the spells aside for a second, because spells could be interesting. Let's say he comes across, let's see, who should he fight? How about a Chaos Space Marine? So we've got a Chaos Space Marine, pretty tough enemy from Space Crusade. Okay, so the 2 of them in combat. Let's get a little closer, because we don't have a lot to look at. All right, so the elf, right now he doesn't have any ranged attacks. Let's say the Chaos Space Marine is going to attack him. So there's the, oh, that's the commander, excuse me. Chaos Space Marine. So he isn't any stronger than an orc in that case, except that he's got an armor value of 2. All right, so just playing with the stats. So let's say this Chaos Space Marine shoots at the elf. So he's going to roll 2 of these light combat dice. He rolled a 2. Okay, the elf has 2 defense, so he would defend normally, and he got 1 white shield. So he blocked 1, but he took a body point of damage. Okay. All right. Now let's say it's the and he chooses not to move. Let's say. So the elf is going to move forward, because both characters in their own respective games can move, action, or action move on their turn. So the elf gets a 7 for movement, and then he's going to move forward, and he's going to initiate an attack. So we're going into melee now, hand to hand. So he attacks with 2 because he has a short sword. Missed. He got nothing. He just got 2 shields because only skulls count. But the Chaos Space Marine gets to respond as well by attacking himself, because it's hand to hand. And he gets a 2. Uh-oh. So the Chaos Space Marine got a 2, so that beats the 0 that the elf got. And what about armor ratings? Well, he's got 2 defend dice, because again, this gets modified when the heroes get more armor. Their armor rating would go up. It could go up to 6. So, but right now he's got 2. So a 2 and a 2, he doesn't beat it, so he does no damage. Ching. Okay. Now you could just imagine. Okay, so he's got like a bayonet on the end of his gun there. I mean, maybe the elf just is able to deflect it. You know, whatever. Maybe his bulky armor slows him down. Who's to say, right? Just because he's a futuristic guy doesn't mean he can stand toe-to-toe with a magical hero of legend, right? All right, so let's say it's... so the Space Marine... Or no, the elf had just done something. So now the Space Marine is going to attack back on his turn. So he's going to do another melee attack. He scores a 1 and a 1. Okay. Now the elf is going to also attack, because that's how we're doing it. So he attacks with 2, and he gets 1 skull. So he scored a 1. The Chaos Space Marine scored 2. Chaos Space Marine had a higher roll, and he got 2, but it's the same as the elf's armor. Ching! Didn't break through. Okay. Now it's the elf's turn. So the elf is going to attack. Totally missed. Okay. Chaos Space Marine still gets to respond when hand to hand. 0. So he got nothing. Okay, how do we break the stalemate? Well, what if there was magic involved?
The elf on his turn could cast a spell on himself. Let's say he did Rock Skin. Rock Skin normally gives him 1 extra defend, so that'd be like making his armor a 3 instead of a 2. Okay, we could imagine that. That's fine. All right, so let's say the elf does that. So that's his action. He doesn't get another movement. Or he doesn't get another... he only gets 1 action per turn. So he cast the spell on himself, increased his armor, and it's until he loses body point of damage. So he's also going to move. Foolishly, he moves at range. He tries to run away. But the Chaos Space Marine can still see him. There's still line of sight, so we can still shoot at him. So let's say the Chaos Space Marine decides to shoot. He rolls a 1. The elf rolls to defend. He didn't get any white shields. He takes another hit of damage. So he's down to 4. Uh-oh. All right. Now, the Chaos Space Marine is not going to move. But the elf has lost his... I don't know what am I saying? I forgot. Excuse me. I should have rolled an extra die because he actually had Rock Skin, right? So before I say that he lost damage, I should roll another one. But it was a skull, so he still would have lost the damage. So now he's back to 2, rolling 2 dice, because that spell wears off if he takes any damage. Okay. So he took the damage, so now the elf is going to have to move to get back into range. 5, so he runs forward, and he's going to attack with 2. Because his only other spells are pass through rock, which I guess in this arena would be pass through metal. Maybe he can metal bend. And then the other one was heal body, which would of course give him back up to 4 lost body points, which kicks in if he dies as well. Okay, so he just rolled 1 skull. And in melee, the Chaos Space Marine rolls. And he just got 0/0. So the elf has 1. Now the Chaos Space Marine has an armor rating of 2, so he did no damage. Ching! So as you can see, I think it would work that way. So rather than just carry out this combat to its conclusion, let's just reset it again. What else could we do? The dwarf, I mean, his attack and defend, his starting attack and defend are the same as the elf, so it's not really that different. I mean, he has the ability to disarm traps a lot easier. There aren't really any traps in Space Crusade, so I'm not quite sure what we would do with the dwarf other than just saying he's a strong fighter. If it were the HeroQuest heroes in Space Crusade. Now, if it was the opposite, if we had these guys shooting down monsters in HeroQuest, it could be interesting as well. So let's maybe, well, the wizard. Let's talk about the wizard real quick. So the wizard is a really weak fighter, but he has all these magical spells. So, or alchemist skills if you play the non-magical version. But one of them is, of course, Ball of Flame. So let's imagine he is going to cast Ball of Flame against an enemy. So let's take one of these androids. They'd be Necrons maybe in the later lore, but let's adjust the camera so you can actually see this monstrosity. This metal maniac. So the android right here. It's got 4 squares of movement, 2 armor, and he's got 3 firing, and then 2 hand-to-hand red. So let's say it's his turn and he's going to fire at the poor, unfortunate wizard. And of course, the wizard, as you can see, he's got kind of a disadvantage there in terms of combat ability. Makes up for it in magic. Okay, so the android attacks the wizard with 3. He just scored 3. Okay, now the wizard defends as normal with 2. Nothing. So he just took 3 damage. Ugh. So he is down to 1 body point. He's in big trouble. So what is the wizard going to do? Well, obviously he's not going to want to go into melee combat, because if he does, the android is going to roll 2 of these, and the wizard's only going to get one of these with his dagger, right? So that's a bad idea. So let's say he's going to use magic instead. So if he does Ball of Flame, now the android only has one body point, but Ball of Flame does 2 body points worth of damage, and the enemy has to roll 1 red die, or I'm sorry, 2 red dice, and for every 5 or 6 rolled, the damage is reduced by 1 point. So let's see. So boom, he hits him with the fireball. The enemy rolls. He got a 5. Okay, so that negated 1 body point of damage, but then the other one was a 1. He still gets hit. Boom, blown away. Enveloped in flames, destroyed. So he wiped him out. Okay, let's say it's the wizard's turn again. He's got Water of Healing. He's going to use that to bring himself back to 4 body points. So he's fine. Okay, now let's say that there's another monster on his tail. Who would it be? How about a Gene Stealer? One of these nasty creatures. And of course, Space Hulk players know what these creatures are. These guys in Space Crusade, you only get to fight them if basically it's a random event. Like if you draw one of these alien event cards. So if you're watching the stream and we're playing Space Crusade and you want one of those guys to come out, buy an alien event card, and it might be a Gene Stealer. Let me just see if I can just grab one of those cards to show you what I mean. There we go. That's the card. There's a couple of those in the deck. Place a Gene Stealer next to any Marine or Commander miniature. Gene Stealer may attack and move as normal this turn. Now, of course, if we were playing with the HeroQuest guys, we would basically treat them as if they were Space Marines. Any of the heroes. Okay, so we got these 2 creatures. It's the Gene Stealer's turn. He has no ranged attack. And the Gene Stealer has 8 squares of movement, 3 armor. He can't fire, but his hand-to-hand is 2 red, 2 heavy combat dice. Okay, so he's going to move forward, 1, 2, get right in his face. Big nasty creature. The wizard's like, I've seen scarier stuff in my day. Nevertheless, the Gene Stealer is going to attack with his 2 red. Nothing. Completely missed. Guess what? It's a melee situation. So the wizard gets to respond with his 1, his dagger, his mighty dagger. Got a skull. Oh, what does that mean? 0, 1. Okay, well, let's check his armor rating. Oh, unfortunately, it's 3, so he didn't do any damage. Ching! And actually, the wizard is in a bad spot because if you think about it, at best, he can only score 1. So he better avoid any monster that has any armor at all. The only Space Crusade monster that he could actually kill hand-to-hand would be the Gretchen. Because the Gretchen, or the Space Goblin, has 0. He has no armor. That'd be the only one he could take out. So any of these other characters, he would not want to engage hand-to-hand. Okay, so now it's the wizard's turn. So obviously he wants to get out of there because he has no chance to win hand-to-hand. I mean, maybe when he gets a staff, well, that would only do 2 damage. So still he would be at a disadvantage. So he gets a 6. So the wizard's going to move out of range. 1, 2, 3. Well, he's still within line of sight, of course. So now what is he going to do? He is going to... Let's see. He's got 2 other combat spells. He could use Fire of Wrath. Classic Fire of Wrath. That's very similar to Ball of Flame, except it's just with 1 die. 1 attack, and then you roll 1 red die for the enemy, and if it's a 5 or 6, they take no damage. But instead of doing that, let's do Genie. Genie gives you the option. Either you open any door, revealing what lies beneath, or lies behind it, or you can attack any monster within your line of sight with 5 combat dice. So he's going to do a ranged attack now. He's going to do 5 combat dice against the Gene Stealer. So if you wanted to see a wizard summon a genie to attack, and of course if this were the non-magical version, it'd be a Chinese rocket. So he'd launch a firework, a medieval firework at him. So let's see what happens. Oh wow. Okay. So that was 2 skulls from that ranged attack. Now, what do we have for the Gene Stealer? He's got 3 armor, remember? So it's got to beat his armor. So since it didn't, ching, didn't kill him. All right, the Gene Stealer is back. Let's see if he can survive. So he's going to move forward and he's going to attack again. Attack the poor wizard, who has 4 body points, but still, I mean, he could score 4 for all we know. Missed. So the wizard lucks out because the wizard can counterattack 1 skull, but since the armor is 3, it does nothing. All right, wizard. The wizard's in a tight spot because he has only so many combat spells. So I think if the Hero Quest heroes are in the world of Space Crusade, they're going to have another way to win the mission besides just killing all the monsters. Because what if the wizard's the only one left? He only has so many opportunities. All right, so he just got an 8. So he's going to run 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay. So he's got Fire of Wrath, and so he's going to use Fire of Wrath, also known as the Fire Lance, against the Gene Stealer. So now the Gene Stealer gets to roll. If it's a 5 or a 6, he negates the 1 body point of damage. 5. Okay, no damage. That's bad news for the wizard. All right, so now it's the Gene Stealer's turn. 1, 2, gets right up in his face, attacks again. Nothing. Wizard responds, no chance to hit him. Yeah, ching right off the armor. So it's a bit of a stalemate. Now what else can the wizard do? Well, if we look at his spells, because he gets the 9 spells by default. Now there's some leeway because the elf will choose 1 college of spells, 1 natural element, and the wizard gets the rest. So from the air spells that are remaining, he has Tempest, which he could swirl him around and force him to lose a turn, which would allow him to escape out of the way. He could use Veil of Mist to pass right through him to get away. He could, let's see, he could use Sleep. Now I've got to decide. With Sleep affects mind points. So would I use the armor as the equivalent of mind points? If so, then we would look at the Gene Stealer and we would say his armor is like mental armor as well. So, I mean, even though you think, oh, he's a mindless monster, he could be a crafty creature, like a xenomorph, and he would have 3 mind points, essentially. So if he casts Sleep on him, Sleep is a very powerful spell. It allows, a sleeping monster can't move, attack, or defend himself. See? So, and it lasts and lasts until they can get out of it. So let's say I cast Sleep on him. So he would roll 1 of these for each of his mind points. In this case, his armor. So we'd have 3 opportunities to roll a 6. All right, so the Gene Stealer just got nailed with it. He's going to try to get out of it. Because, yeah, these are high-tech guys, but, I mean, magic, alchemy, I mean, it crosses over. All right, a 3. Okay, so failed once. He's got 2 more opportunities. Failed again. 1 more chance. 6. Okay. Unaffected. So he's awake. He's not in sleep. Darn. So what else can the wizard do? Well, I mean, it's his turn. He can run away. I think that's best. Because if he didn't, yeah, he's pretty weak in combat, as you can see. Now, you've got different monsters here. So we've talked about the Gene Stealer. It's a pretty rare monster. You're not going to be fighting Gene Stealers all the time like you are in Space Hulk. I mean, in Space Hulk, I think it's just basically Marines versus Gene Stealers all the time. But really, you only get these guys if you happen to draw the alien event card. Because every turn, the evil alien player will draw one of these. And there's a couple opportunities for a Gene Stealer to be placed. More often than not, you're going to be fighting Gretchens, so space goblins, and they move 8 squares of movement. So similar to Hero Quest, they're pretty agile, but they have no armor. So if you score any damage against them, they're dead, pretty much. They fire with 2 white, and then they have hand-to-hand with 1 white. So a wizard could take on those guys fine. Then you've got, of course, the Space Orc. They're a little stronger, so they've got 6 squares of movement, 1 armor, 2 white, 2 white, as you've seen. The Chaos Space Marine is very similar, except, as we pointed out, he has 2 armor instead of just 1. Then we've got the Chaos Commander. There's only one of these guys. They're pretty rare. And sometimes, by killing him, you accomplish the objective and get a lot of points, or the secondary objective. So he's just like a regular Chaos Space Marine with armor of 2, movement 6, except his firing is stronger than his hand-to-hand. It's 2 red. So you definitely want to close the distance and go hand-to-hand against him. Then we've got the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought is a boss. Now that would be an interesting matchup, because that's really hard to kill. The Dreadnought with hand-to-hand, it's 2 red and 2 white. So even if you're playing with Space Marines, that's a losing proposition, unless you've got some really good bonuses. With firing, it's interesting because he's got 3 weapons. They're bolt-on weapons, so he could have like this assault cannon, this pulse or plasma gun. See, I had to do it from memory. Or you've got this rocket launcher, and they all have different abilities. But he gets to fire boom, boom, and then these little things are supposed to be bolters, so twin bolters. So what would it be like if the wizard fought one of those monstrosities? I mean, he could do okay against some of those other guys, but yeah, he's just going to be using his magic and then running, unless you've upgraded him. So let's say this unfortunate wizard, with all his stats intact, has encountered a Dreadnought, a mighty Dreadnought, a huge war machine of threat and danger. Okay. So the first thing the wizard is going to do, what is he going to do? Can he cast sleep on it? Is it a machine? If you treat it as a machine, I guess sleep is not an option. And I guess if you're looking at it in those terms, then maybe an android couldn't be put to sleep either. But would a Gretchen automatically be put to sleep because he has no armor? Be fair. But why would you waste it on a Gretchen? So let's say he doesn't have the option of sleep. Maybe the first thing he should do is try Genie. So he's going to use the 5 combat dice. So the Genie or the Chinese rocket against the Dreadnought. Okay, he got 3 skulls. But guess what? The armor value of the Dreadnought is 4. So he did no damage. Okay. Well, let's say for some reason the Dreadnought decided not to do anything this turn. Okay. Somehow, let's say the wizard had the Wand of Recall or the Wand of Magic, and he was able to use 2 spells per turn instead of just 1. So let's say he got another one. He used Tempest. Causes the big creature to lose a turn. Okay. And then, so now it's the wizard's turn again. Let's say he wants to use Ball of Flame. He's going to use Ball of Flame, and if we treat armor points like mind points, so the Dreadnought must have a really advanced computer. He's got 4. So he's going to have 4 opportunities. Or no, wait. What am I saying? That'd be for sleep. Sorry. We're talking about Ball of Flame here. So Ball of Flame, no matter how many body points, or how many mind points you have, you always get 2 dice. So Ball of Flame. So 2 hits unless he can roll a 5 or a 6 on each of these dice. Okay, he didn't roll a 5, he didn't roll a 6, so he takes 2 body points of damage. Boom, boom. So guess what? In game terms, that means that this weapon is blown off, and this weapon is blown off. Boom, boom. So actually, that would be great. So now, the Dreadnought is reduced to not only 1 life point, but he only has the bolters to attack with. So now if it's the Dreadnought's turn, what can he do? Well, he could either move close and attack him hand to hand, which would be really deadly. But let's just say he fires at him. If he fires at him, that's 2. Missed. Darn. Okay. Gets in his face. But the wizard's too smart for that. So he's going to run. Now he does have Swift Wind, which could give him double movement, but for now he's just going to move the normal way. Got a 7. So he's going to skirt around. Let's get to set up a defensive position here. Now he's going to try Fire of Wrath. So Fire of Wrath, the enemy rolls 1 red die. It's 1 body point of damage unless he can roll a 5 or 6. He got a 3. Boom. Destroyed it. Blew it up. Rest in pieces. So the wizard is capable of taking down the Dreadnought. But man, you saw what happened. He had to use all 3 of his combat spells to do that. So the wizard would be played very conservatively. You'd be putting him kind of in the back while everybody else kind of does the work, and then when it's his turn, he could just unleash, his power against the big bad guy. Now, could we imagine the scenario if it were reversed? What if the Dreadnought just wants to crush the wizard? Could he do it? Obviously, yes. So he moves forward. And now, as I pointed out, the Dreadnought rolls 2 red and 2 white. Okay? So he's got a very strong melee attack. Okay, so he rolled 2, 4, 5, 6. There's no way the wizard can come back from that, is it? Because his melee is 1. Unless he was using a spell. Like, yeah. 1 skull. So obviously he lost the melee. So the wizard just took 4, 5, 6. 6 body points worth of damage. He would be instantly destroyed. Now he does have Water of Healing, so he would come back. He would come back with 4. From the brink of death, he was restored to life with his full health. But wow, he can't survive another hit like that. Unless he's got some potions or something. So, but let's imagine that the Dreadnought went off from afar and decided to hit him with one of his weapons. What would these look like? So let me just refer to the stats in the official Space Crusade. One moment. All right, we're back. Welcome once again to HeroQuest fans. We are talking about Space Crusade, and there is one thing I wanted to show you. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. We're talking about Space Crusade, but we're also talking about HeroQuest because we're saying what would happen if you took the HeroQuest characters and you threw them into Space Crusade, and instead of changing the rules, you kind of combined them. So the Space Crusade monsters or aliens would attack and defend the way they normally do. And the HeroQuest heroes would attack and defend the way they normally do, except when there's a conflict. And my thought was, since the Space Crusade monsters don't have mind points, they would convert their armor into mind points. And you would make a concession, maybe saying that the Dreadnought and the android can't be put to sleep because they're machines, but the Gretchen would be instantly put to sleep because he only has 0. Yeah! Dark Mimolet 38, welcome. First time chatting. Yeah, I've been wanting to get you on this Twitch for a long time, so thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. So one of our French-speaking friends, fan of HeroQuest and also Space Crusade possibly. So yeah, so I'm just toying with what would happen if you did a crossover, because I really want to do some type of adventure. I'm thinking, anything can happen in the world of HeroQuest, right? But they talk about portals and they talk about warp space and all kinds of weird stuff happening. What if some of the characters from the HeroQuest world crossed over into Space Crusade and they found themselves on a Space Hulk out in space and they were fighting these monsters? Or what if some of the some of the evil chaos aliens stepped through the portal into the HeroQuest world? What would that be like? So I'm thinking of coming up with some stories, some adventures, just an excuse to get them together. And it might be really complicated, but so far it looks like it could be pretty adaptable. You just kind of have to remember which dice you're using at what time. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, and also I just want to let you know, in about 4 hours, a little less than 4 hours, we are doing a rant cast with The Strange Bus. So twitch.tv/The Strange Bus. We'll be doing another rant cast, talking about games, talking about Star Wars, talking about all kinds of great stuff, controversial stuff with passionate opinions. But it should be a good time. We had a blast the last time, and it should be no different this time. So I'm looking forward to it, and definitely you should check us out there. You can check us out on Discord. You can check us out on Twitch. Later it'll be on YouTube, but definitely on his. So I'll be joining him live. If you join us on Discord, which you can see down there on Discord, you can actually start talking with us if you want. Now, unfortunately, I don't speak French, so if you want to communicate with us in English, that's cool. But yeah, you can use your mic to talk if you want. But yeah, we're just doing a demonstration. So what if the wizard went up against the dreadnought? So the dreadnought could be destroyed by Fire of Wrath and Ball Flame if you got some good rolls, and the genie. Now, what if the so if we're looking at the weapons here, so the dreadnought has an assault cannon, and he's also got a plasma gun. Now he could also have a missile launcher, but the bolter is like this. So these are the values from Space Crusade for these weapons. So the assault cannon, it would just be 2 red dice against him. So let's say he shot the poor unfortunate wizard with his assault cannon. This would be bad. Okay, so he scored a 3. That's a 0. 3. So now the wizard still gets to defend. But no matter what he does, he's going to lose at least 1 body point. Oh, he needed a no defense. So he's down to 1. Because he got a skull and a black shield. So he didn't defend against any of that. So that'd be bad. All right, let's reset things. Let's say the wizard's back to full health with 4 body points, and the dreadnought decides to shoot the poor wizard with a missile launcher. So the blast radius is going to be right over the top of him. And it would hit all those other squares, but the main damage goes to there. So it's 2 red dice. And I think when I played this before, I didn't actually do it right the first time. So sorry about that. I was new to the game. I still haven't played it with anybody. I've only played it against myself, which you can do in Space Crusade. Thanks to Always Bored Never Boring, who demonstrated that on his awesome YouTube channel. So a 3. So that means that, let's see. I think the rules for the missile is the center square is the higher die, so that'd be 2. And then the lower die is all these squares around. So if other heroes were nearby, they would all have to defend as well. So let's say they do. Okay, so the barbarian would get hit with 1. So the barbarian rolls 2. He blocked it. Okay, the dwarf rolls. Oh, he blocked it. Got 1. The elf, he's going to roll. He blocked it. Wow, good job, guys. Okay, so they all survive. But what about the wizard? He's got to defend against 2 now. Oh, he didn't. He just took 2 body points of damage from that missile explosion. That's pretty nasty. Okay, so the other heroes will clear them out. Let's reset again. Let's say it's the plasma gun. Oh yeah, so the plasma gun is actually like a beam weapon. So let's say the elf is right behind him. It's going to blast through both of them. And it's going to do so with 2 red dice. Okay, so the plasma gun is fired by the dreadnought. Okay, so it's a 4. Wow. So every single person in line takes 4 damage. Unless they can defend. So the wizard's going to defend first. Okay, so he blocked 1 and he took 3. So he's down to 1 body point. Wow. And now the elf is going to do the same thing. Same thing. He took 3. Of course, he has 6 body points. But if we change it up, so that's 4. So what if the, well, the wizard doesn't have it, but let's say the elf had rock skin and he had used it previously, so he would have 3 defend dice. Okay, so he got 2. So he blocked 2, but he still gets hit with 2. So that'd be another way to handle it. Now, things can change. So the wizard might have the wizard's cloak, so he would have 3. Or he might have bracers. That'd be 4, right? What else? The elf could have a helmet. It's 3. He could have a shield. 4. He could have chainmail. 5. Or instead of chainmail, let's say he's got plate mail. So that's 2 instead of 1. Now he's got 6. So there's different ways that you can handle it. So magic and potions would help the heroes against their foes, but man, there's a lot of combat in Space Crusade. So they'd have to really... They would definitely have a challenge, I think. But I think the game changer would be those special abilities that they have. Now, if the good guys also get these combat cards, there could be some opportunities there, for different things. So, I don't know, it could work. Now, the way I played Space Crusade, I've also used Terrain Crate, Starship Scenery, so I placed little computer terminals and little, weapon lockers and stuff, and then I've decided that, yeah, the Space Marines could essentially search for treasure, even though that's not part of the original game, but they could draw like an equipment card. So, they've got a piece of equipment that they found in that room. And the way I decided to do the mechanic is, my homebrew rule was to say, if it's a regular Space Marine, he rolls 1 die when he's searching a room if there's no monsters. And if he gets a 1 and a 1 only, then he gets to grab a random equipment card. If it's a commander that does the search, he still rolls 1 die, but if it's a 1 or a 2, he gets an equipment. Okay, and once you've run out of cards, then you maxed out your equipment. But it could be a way, basically, it's like regaining spells, because in Space Crusade, the good guys get orders, a certain number of orders based on your rank, and then you get a certain amount of equipment. But equipment gets used up, or sometimes it does. Sometimes it's just a bonus that lasts the whole time. Each faction gets different things. So, yeah, I think it could be interesting. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. And, there's other things. Let's just do a quick one. I'm not going to pull out the HeroQuest board to show you this, but let's say we've got a HeroQuest orc. Okay? We've seen those before. And you can just pretend this is a HeroQuest board. And now we've got a... let's say we've got a Space Marine. So we got one of these guys in yellow, Imperial Fists, so he's there. So how is he going to handle himself against HeroQuest Orc? So the Space Marine Bolter is 2 white dice. That's hand-to-hand. Hand-to-hand combat is always 2 white. 2 white there. Okay. So let's say it's the Space Marine's turn. And he's going to fire, not counting any bonuses or anything. He's going to fire at the Orc. Okay, he just scored a 2. So the Orc normally defends with 2, right? So I'm going to use the Zargon dice for this because it's a monster, just for fun. No defense, so the Orc was killed. Easy. All right, let's say there's a mummy. And the mummy is going to approach, boom, boom, and attack the Space Marine. So the mummy normally attacks with 3 combat dice. Let's use the Zargon dice here. 1 skull. Okay. So since it's melee combat, we're gonna have the Space Marine just do his hand-to-hand counter. They both get to attack. He attacks with 2 because it's a bolter. It's his only weapon. He got 0. So 1 beats 0. So then the Space Marine would take 1 body point of damage, or 1 life point. Well, guess what? This is not a commander. This is just a regular guy. He's only got 1 life point. He's dead. So as you can see, the battle could be over very quickly. Because these Space Marines, they're kind of light, The Space Marine commanders have 6 life points.
Use magic or alchemy. Dark Mullet 38. Nice. Okay. So what should we do here? Yeah. Well, he didn't have any magic to use, but well, let's see. We could bring the wizard back. The wizard sneaks up and does his normal thing. He casts Ball of Flame against the mummy. The mummy has 2 body points, but can try to survive. Any 5 or 6 would negate the damage. Nothing. So it gets hit. Boom, boom. Flame destroyed. Thanks for your help. Anytime. All right. What would be some other things we could do? Let's say we've got... Okay, we've got some different weapons here. So we've got a missile launcher. What if we used a missile launcher against an orc? A Hero Quest orc. No, not an orc. Let's say against a Yeti. Haha. So we've got a Yeti, and we'll shoot the missile launcher at the Yeti. So it would hit there. This is just from Warhammer 40k, just showing you which squares it attacks. So he shoots him, and he's going to roll the 2 red heavy dice. Nothing. Missed. All right. So the Yeti's going to move forward. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. He attacks with 3 dice, doesn't he? I believe. From memory. We had a lot of trouble with the Yeti before. Yeah. Tag for Space Crusade. Oh, yeah. No, Dark Mullet 38. That's a good point. So I'm not trying to fool anybody. This is a Hero Quest stream, but the fact that I'm doing Space Crusade, yeah, I should probably edit the game title. I don't know. If I'm doing a crossover, is it okay? Like, I'm not trying to confuse anybody. But let's say that the Hero Quest Yeti attacks the Space Crusade Marine. One attack die, okay? So since he's carrying a heavy weapon, he still only does these 2. Go Conan. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so he rolled a 2. That beats the 1, so now he does 1 body point of damage to the Yeti. All right, let's say it's the Yeti's turn. He's going to go back and he's going to attack the hero. 1 skull. Counterattack from the Space Marine. Oh, come on. 1. So it's equal. So nobody does any damage. But what if the Yeti actually did do damage to the Space Marine? Well, he would kill him. I was trying to think, like, if it was a commander instead. So the commander has 6 life points. He would, let's say he did some damage, he would grab him in a hold, and then the Space Marine commander would have to try to break out of it. So I think there I would use my homebrew rules. Housebrew sounds good, actually. He'd roll 3 of these, and let's see, for every... that's a good question. How would he do it? I think if he rolls a 1 or a 2 on any die, that would be yeah, if he gets 1 number above 0, that would be negate the damage. 2 numbers above 0, that would break the hold. 3 numbers above 0, and he would do a move, wrestling move on the Yeti. So let's see what he gets. Let's re-roll that one. Okay, he got 3 zeros, so he takes damage. Ugh. Next turn, he tries again. Nothing. He takes damage. Oh man, this is tough. Next turn, nothing. He's getting close to death. Next one. Okay, he finally got a 1, so he negated the damage. Man, gets another one. Okay, he got a 2. I guess he still negates the damage. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one, because I know there's a 1 and a 2, but if I say that it's different, I mean, I'm probably going to have to count those both as white shields, because normally a Hero Quest hero would only have a chance. You know, he'd have 2 out of 6 chances to get a shield. Well, anyway, I'll have to think about that some more. Okay, so enough of that for now. One thing I wanted to share, L. Weiler, great guy, has really helped the channel with his designs. I love his artwork.
that he contributed. I mean, I didn't even ask him for the first one. He just did it. But then I said, well, could you whip up a Space Crusade one for us if you want, if you have time? And so he did. So he came up with some stuff. I want to show you his artwork. And, I made a couple suggestions, of course, but I think it'll do. I think it is cool. So let me pull that up and show you what we've got. Okay, not there. All right, I'm just going to have to go into my very well organized folder of stuff here. Sorry guys, just a moment. But yeah, Elveiler has done some cool stuff for us. All right. Yeah, and don't forget we got the Rantcast at 9 p.m. Central on the Strange Buses channel. So Space Crusade, we've got a couple things here. So there's the first overlay. Oh, yeah, we gotta change the proportions here. So yeah, very similar to the other one, except it's got a little more futuristic theme to it. Let me just turn off the other one so you can see. Okay. So yeah, and we're covering up the text. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Error. No, we got it correct. Okay. So, Space Crusade fans. But at the same time, I'm not trying to send the message that we're switching to some other game. It's still HeroQuest fans. So let's check out another one that he did. I like this one a little bit better, this other design. Now it is a little more high contrast, but yeah, he came up with another design that I'm going to have to throw in too. Actually, yeah, it's beta. Okay. Actually, I'm going to have to just check the Discord really quick here. I'm pretty sure he sent it to me. If he doesn't have it done yet, that's okay. I mean, I think it's awesome that he did it as quickly as he did. I mean, I was not expecting that. Nice. Okay. "12-player quest." Oh yeah, these guys are in the Discord are talking about multi-hero quests. So I think I've played with 5 heroes before. It was a longer game. And it would be possible that you could play HeroQuest with many more heroes. Because when you think about it, they give you 12 mercenaries, and then each mercenary has 2 body points. So if you think of 12 mercenaries, that's 24 more body points. So that's like maybe 6 new heroes that each have 4 body points. I mean, that's a lot of people crowded around one table. It's going to be a lot of time waiting for your turn. But in theory, I mean, adding a couple 6 body point heroes isn't that bad, really. Because I guess the thought is, you've got all those mercenaries and they're going to get killed probably right away. And, whereas with Space Crusade, you've got these squads. And yeah, the squad leaders, the commanders, they have 6 life points, but their 4 guys, or their 9 guys only have 1 each. When you're playing with the Eldar, it's a little different. Oh yeah, I got to do the Eldar demonstration. Maybe next time. I think we're kind of running late on time, so I'm going to kind of be wrapping this up here soon. But I still want to acknowledge the hard work done by Elveiler. So let me just quickly check the Discord here. Yeah, the Rantcast is coming up. Gonna save it for the Rantcast. All those rants. Yeah, thank you, Dark Mimolet 38. Thank you very much. You missed the first demonstration, so I definitely wanted to show you that the wizard is capable of taking the dreadnought down. He can destroy it. He just got to get some good rolls. Going hand to hand against the dreadnought is not a good idea because he is very, very powerful. Unless you've got some special weapons. So I don't know. It could be interesting because you could have the Space Marines helping the heroes at the same time. I mean, potentially, right? It could be a hero in the game with his special abilities. You probably want it to be a commander though, because the commanders at least have 6 life points. Whereas if you've got a hero who has only 1 body point, that's pretty weak. It's pretty tough to survive. But yeah, imagine an Eldar next to an elf, you know, or would a Necron go hand to hand with a barbarian? You know, all kinds of things are possible. All right, so let me just take a quick look here at Elviler. He sent me some stuff here. No, that's not it. Yeah, we started the stream a little late, but I'm going a little bit later to compensate. I'm sure the rantcast is going to go long. Now tomorrow, the big question is, what are we going to do tomorrow? I think tomorrow we're probably going to try to do some gameplay, trying to do some live questing. I know PSK has a prior engagement, so no problem there. He's welcome anytime, but he's going to be busy. Strange Bus may be available later. That's cool. So we might not start right at 6, maybe 6:30, 7, 8 even. We'll just kind of do our own thing until other people show up. And I'm happy to play interactively with whoever shows up. So we've got mini hero slots. We could do a quest. We could do another Frozen Horror adventure. I'm okay with that. We completed the first 3 amazingly. And I would love to play the group quest. But man, that might be a 2-parter. That might be a 3-parter, 4-parter. Because those quests can get long. Because think about it. When they throw that many monsters at you, it's going to be a long quest. It really is. But I don't mind. I like playing with you guys. I'd much rather do that than just play by myself. Okay. So I'm going to have to check these out. Ah, okay. Yeah, he gave me one that has some fire. So my idea was put some fire behind it. A little bit of fire, Scarecrow. Okay, so sorry everybody, I'm just checking this here. Welcome to all of our visitors. Word Tweak, welcome. Hey, Word Tweak, you were one of the people that wanted to see Space Crusade, right? Good to have you here. So I was trying to figure out what it would be like to have kind of a mixture of the rules. So the heroes attack with their combat dice, and they defend with their combat dice. But the Space Crusade characters, they use their combat dice. Okay? And we basically treat their armor points like mind points for the purposes of spells. So they would still defend with these, but they would get that many opportunities. So that's 4 armor points would be 4 opportunities with the red dice to counter a spell. And we would treat life points like body points. So it could work. Now we could do it the opposite way. We could put some of the Space Crusade characters, like these Marines, fighting HeroQuest monsters in HeroQuest. So it would be just the reverse. But it'd be a squad of them, because that's normally how it goes. All right, let me throw up another image here. I keep saying throw up. I'm sorry about that, folks. All right, let's take a look at one of the artworks that Elviler so kindly created for us. Thank you once again. That's so awesome that you did that. So let's grab that from Still Store. Okay, so that's a starting soon screen. It's got that rusty metal, and it's got our great HeroQuest fans logo on there, minus the little orc, but that's okay. I like it, and I think that is that's really nice. That's really nice. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. Okay. See, I love it when the community comes together. Really means a lot. Okay, let's grab another image because he created a couple different ones. We'll just grab that one. I'm just not showing it to you yet because it is a private share, so I'm not trying to show all that stuff. Okay, so be right back soon. Yeah, so we did the overlays and the screens. So I think I'll definitely be using these when we play Space Crusade or Hero Quest with Space Crusade elements. Because I feel like, I mean, people really came for Hero Quest, and I understand. Like, I like Space Crusade, but if it's a way to draw in kind of both communities and play like a mixture of Hero Quest and Space Crusade stuff together, which I mean, there's just so many possibilities. I mean, there's all these miniatures. There's just all kinds of things that we could do. I mean, the heroes could go into the world of Space Crusade. They could go through the portal on a mission for Mentor, maybe fight the counterparts of Chaos in that universe. They could get caught up in the events of the Galactic Empire, the Imperium of Man, as they call it. You know, for your 40K fans. The some of the bad guys could come through the warp and invade the world of HeroQuest. So you could have, you know, Chaos Space Marines and Space Orcs attacking. Maybe some Eldar would come through to help the heroes. Maybe some Space Marines would come chasing after those monsters and maybe help out the heroes on in the Space Crusade world. Or I mean the HeroQuest world. I keep wanting to say like the Warhammer Fantasy world, but it isn't necessarily. It's kind of its own world now. But at one time, it would have been based directly on the Warhammer Fantasy world. All right, so let's see. High contrast, glow, and fire. Nice. Okay, so I'm just going to download a couple more of these and take a look at his handiwork. I mean, I'm not saying I'm super talented with graphic design, but I mean, I wouldn't have had time to whip this stuff up as quickly as he did and have his impressive results. So kudos to him. All right, so if we add another overlay here and let's take a look at it. All right, let's take a look at this one here. Yeah, I like that. I like that fire effect, that flame effect or brightness. I think that looks pretty good. So we can definitely use it. All right, and then what other options would we have? So there's that, and then one more. And hey, anybody else out there, if you want to show off your skills, if you have something that you think we could use, kind of spruce the place up, I mean, I'd be happy to check it out. I appreciate it. I appreciate the contribution. And hey, a little piece of you goes into the story. You become part of the flow of the channel. Oh yeah, that's just a darker version. Yeah, I think I like this one better. Well, anyway,
Thank you everybody for joining us here on HeroQuest Fans. Let me just turn those off just for now. Thank you for everybody that's been contributing. It means a lot to me to have that interaction, that participation. I got a couple different ones here. Oh, now I gotta organize them all.